Oh, one of those. Okay, this is going to be great. I haven't watched a thing.
I have been reading the Hero with 1,000 Faces, so this is going to be especially interesting to me.
Awesome. All righty, guys. Good afternoon.
Know you.
And welcome to Smudcast number 549. The hero's journey is whatever she thinks it is. And in case you don't know, it's Friday, end of the month, which means it's Maggie Mae Fish Day, the favorite time of the Smudcast month. And we were lucky to get this one done. Just threw this one on me today. I wasn't sure what we were covering today. And luckily, it's under 30 minutes. It's about a topic we've covered many times. And Mark, as you've already read, you're on it right now. It's a hard read. It's not easy to go through. And
absolutely not. I actually asked LiteratureDevil about this, and then he described it as an academic book, and he's goddamn right in the description. But I truly feel that if you want to understand the hero's journey, like these writing itself, not just that, but like the Monomyth, then it's like an essential read to have.
Yeah, and the great thing about Campbell is he's researched so many cultures over thousands and thousands of years, and he references, like every paragraph is just chock full of references to what he's talking about, whether it's religion or mythos of ancient India or the pantheon of some religion. Like he goes into so much detail. And to disregard that or to say this guy is a hack or doesn't know what he's talking about is pretty sad. And we've listened to the YouTuber called Wit and Folly. She dedicated most of her channel, at least she used to, dedicate most of her channel about the hero's myth or the hero's monomyth. Was it the heroine's myth?
The heroine's journey, yes.
The American's monomyth, like all these dumb, versions of that.
Yeah.
So to have Maggie Mae Fish do a Wit and Folly is like, wow, it's so exciting for me because I'm just going to be so happy to hear this crazy person talk about something far beyond our understanding.
Papyrus.
I don't know how she's going to do it, but she's going to screw it up and we're going to laugh.
In Papyrus. Just look at the screen.
Yeah, well.
Yes, there's Papyrus.
Anyway, this is 22 minutes and a half. I have not watched a second. I don't know what's going to happen. I pulled out some of my old psych notes. But you guys are going to have a field day. I'm going to have a conniption probably once or twice maybe. So let's see how we do. You guys all set and watch together? You're good to go?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
I'm ready.
Hello there. I actually did see you because I am an all-seeing being.
Ah.
And if you're
creepy.
that just means that you are on your first steps in the hero's journey.
What?
You're going to achieve the
definitely colours that
impossible,
look worse on
rise against all odds, make fame and fortune for generations of offspring to come. Unless your name is Brian! All Brians suck! I am so...
Oh, I hate this kind of humor.
As we see it right here, this is the crossing of the first threshold. The villain shows herself.
Yes, the reluctant to accept the call. She's about to get into her video, then she stops and starts complaining.
And this is when the supernatural aid goes wrong.
I thought this was like my hero's journey where I'm reluctant to watch the video.
I thought we were entering the first circle.
Of hell, yeah.
Yeah, well. At least her makeup is decent. She's not scaring us away.
For God's sake. No.
She looks like a young boy. She looks attractive. It's good.
Young boy?
What did you just say?
You said she looks like a young boy, Spud.
Yeah. No?
Oh my.
Yes, the face is.
Am I wrong?
It's so androgynous.
Don't say those sentences too close together.
Oh my God, she looks like a young boy.
He's Canadian, he can't say that.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's the second circle, probably.
That's Smiden.
Paradise has been lost.
Jesus.
What I'm trying to say is she looks good. That's the point, right? Okay.
He's
comparatively normal
I do
for
not
Meg.
want to comment this.
Yeah, exactly. Compared to her well, pretty much any other time she dresses up, this is sane.
Smud, her eyebrows look like obese caterpillars. They're not attractive.
Yeah, but her bangs are long enough to cover partially, her face, so it's better than not.
Does she have orange tint in her right side of the hair? Why is that?
That's a flame.
That's a flame. Okay,
That's just the fire. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's already burning. Is this the end?
Tomorrow when my girlfriend wakes up and I show her like this pause screen that I'm screenshotting and saying, "When Smud thinks this is attractive, she's going to lose all respect for you."
Comparatively speaking, I do appreciate that she's not driving us insane at this point. So
Smud's like that. Well, compared to being mauled to death by an unhinged lion, she looks kind of attractive. It's perfectly fine. It's like there's loads of things to compare it to.
Yeah, she's just not attractive. She doesn't have an inch of makeup near her eyes. That's always nice. The blush is not killing me or making my eyes bleed, or the contrast to soak up the brightness of my screen. So I have to put my shades on. Her hair is not insane. She's good. She's doing good. So
she looks like every average little boy. So.
Okay, let's go.
Never gonna live that one down, Smud.
No.
Sorry, that's just in your DNA. There's never been a hero named Brian, and if there was, I assure you that
Life of Brian.
Oh my god, I was just about to say Life of Brian.
Life of Brian. Yeah, what about that?
That's a hero's journey.
Hero's journey.
It's
even though he doesn't want it.
Yeah, I know. It's always he's reluctant to the call. He's just always going or running away. So
I'm sure there's loads of people called Brian who've been heroes, but we never hear him called Brian. I don't know. Someone's probably called Brian somewhere.
Yeah, well,
Brian Cranston.
Well, wasn't there that? No, that was Brain from Arthur. I don't know. There's very few characters called Brian.
Anyway, she's still doing her joke, so let's get this over with.
was not the real name. I'm sorry, Brian, watching this, but you've been born someone else. Anyways, do you guys know that clouds are made out of marshmallows?
No, sure.
I know you'd think cotton candy, but
Keep going, Maggie.
Stores out of
I couldn't give a shit.
Marshmallows. Anyways, everyone else, you can go off heroing, except you, Brian. You're gonna sit there.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, stop it.
Hilarious.
Most of us know what the hero's journey
Oh, she put
or
in the
the
corner that it's
monomyth
papyrus.
is, even if you think you don't. It's the idea that all the myths in human history can be simplified down into one common form.
No.
Not simple.
No. Is have the same elements every time, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
That is a gross.
She already failed the first 5 pages of the book. Congratulations, Maggie. You're absolutely disgraced to humanity.
Yeah, there's certain ways to describe the monomyth, but not that everything can be reduced or simplified. And the reason why is we see the way that people define stories. Like other people have had these theories before Joseph Campbell, but he actually did the research, and we see as his approach is a universal approach to culture and myth and meaning and all kinds of religious symbolisms. It's found throughout history, throughout culture, throughout religion, throughout every society. And these patterns seem to be. This is before we had like a big database of all the patterns that we talk about. We talk about modern stories in movies and what have you. And this is their version of that. These are their pattern understanding. They just wrote them down, and he saw, hey, well, the ancient Indians did this, and the ancient Europeans did that, and that's this big list that he made.
It's like the pre-internet's TV tropes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also
that
find
would be the
certain
best
aspects
description.
of it, certain stages of it reflected in various philosophies.
Okay. Here is Vladimir Dragunov. Thank you, sir. Reminder that Batman is scared of Plastic Man. Also, what is that creature on the screen? That was a poor attempt at humor that went on for about 30, 40 seconds. So.
No, 1 minute and 4 seconds.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I was counting, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hard to say what the hell she was trying to do there. Saying the same joke over after another joke. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Here's the dark
It's
It's
Brian.
dry.
Yeah.
She's not wasting any joke potential that is left, so she just uses it all up.
Yeah.
She's very careful with the resources.
Here's the Dark Seraph. Thank you again. The hero's journey is BS. Isn't that every single work of fiction ever? Not exactly, but if you talk about stories that have a specific kind of like rags to riches sort of setup, or a adventure story, or a person that goes from high to low and then back up again, that's your typical hero's journey. So there's there's a tribulation, there's a crossing of the threshold to the world of the unknown, there's an apotheosis or a climax of some kind, and then you go back to normalcy. So
Enemies become friends. Sorry, it's that Family Guy scene.
oh yeah,
He writes that. You write your novel. Hero's journey, highs and lows. Friends become enemies. Enemies become friends.
yeah,
I'm sure you'll do great.
pretty much everything like that. And every culture, every writer has their own spin on it. So there's bound to be lots of patterns that are the same, and that's what many people figured out. So anyway, Gingaman. Hey, Gingaman. Hi. I don't know why you're giving me money, but thank you, sir. Excuse me, Smud Boy. What the actual hell are you snorting to say Maggie Mae fucking Fish looks either attractive or like a young boy? It's the jaw, man.
Or both.
It's the jaw. You know, she got those manly young boy features. I highly recommend that you go see a doctor first thing in the morning. Here's some money to do it. Okay, now you think me calling her looking like a boy is wrong?
No. I think it's more the fact that you said she looks like a boy, and that's attractive.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
compared to what she normally looks like, which is not a young boy and not
No,
attractive.
no, Smud. Like, listen, the whole that you are doing. You just stop.
It implies a certain thing the way you said it.
Yeah, the way you say it implies you like little boys.
Oh, well, no, that's obviously not what I said, but yeah.
No, yeah,
Pretty
but
close though.
yeah, it's like, boy, that Maggie Mae Fish, she looks attractive, and she also looks like a little boy. It's like, oh god, oh my god, I'm like, oh.
Anyway, let's keep going.
I didn't get you for a Democrat voter.
Wait. He's not dead yet, okay?
Oh,
Right.
It's those mandibles.
okay. All right, let's keep going.
The concept was invented and popularized by writer and professor Joseph Campbell
No.
in his book Hero with a Thousand Faces.
Pattern
from
recognition, you
1949.
idiot.
You've probably seen this
Something
handy
she
little
can't.
diagram in an English or screenwriting class. The hero starts at home, crosses the threshold into a larger, strange world, faces trials, and is transformed, eventually returning home a changed person. For example, Star Wars, one of the most influential films of all time, was literally written by George Lucas with the hero's journey in mind.
Please, stop. No, this is not funny.
I didn't have a harp.
It's become the gold standard for how to tell the
harp.
story of a
Oh,
hero. Campbell read
gosh, you're making
thousands of
mad
myths
dude
from
with a
all
harp.
over the world, all different time periods, and argued that all of them, that's right, all of them, can be boiled down into this series of steps. Well, that seems a little reductive, you might think. And to that I would say, who are you talking to? Me explaining Joseph Campbell's theory or Joseph Campbell's theory? Because the answer to your question is yes. In his book on the Monomyth, Campbell describes the hero as
the man or woman who has been able to battle past his personal and local historical limitations to the generally valid, normally human forms. His visions, ideas, and inspirations come pristine from the primary springs of human life and thought. Hence, they are eloquent, not of the present disintegrating society and psyche, but of the unquenched source through which society is born. He is an eternal man perfected, unspecific, universal man. He has been reborn.
Campbell argues that we can take a specific person, whether it's an ancient myth or a modern hero, pull them out of their time and place, and voila, they are all the same.
Okay, she said person or character. Like, you can't just say person from reality. You say character in a story. I think she's trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't just say go 2,000 years in the past, pull out some Palestinian, and go, okay, are you like the Monomyth? Like, what? No.
He doesn't speak English.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Can anyone speak ancient Palestinian?
Yeah. So these guys don't know. There are no people in the stories. They're not real. Okay. Just putting that out there.
Pretty much.
Even in like true stories, they're not real.
The issue is it's just pattern recognition. That's all the hero's journey is.
It's more about like plot points as well.
Yeah, and even then, the various elements of if you guys ever do read the book, it's not all like written in stone. Like there's lots of modular elements that could appear or not appear at all in different order.
Mm-hmm.
So for her to say it's universal is like, well, yeah, it is universal, but it's not like written in stone. Every story is the same.
Yeah, there's just set.
Similar.
Yeah, there's set things, not set things, but there's certain things that are similar in each story.
Yeah, the same with there's only 30 or so. I would say there's less, but people say there's 30 or so plots in every, or one of 30 or so plots in every story ever told. And it's like, yeah, you're kind of true. There's only a certain limit. There's only a certain amount of desires and goals that characters in a story have. You can't just like, I wish to be stronger. Okay, well, you could be stronger on your basketball team, or you could be stronger in fighting the gods or something. So there's limits to that understanding, and it's not, there's no.
Oh my God! I just realized that's why Last Jedi is such an amazing movie, because it's literally no plot. It's none of the 30 plots because it's just no plot. Oh, no wonder it's a masterpiece. No, I get it now. I completely understand.
Oh, because it subverts John Campbell.
It subverts plots?
It just subverts reality. It's just
Ray does stuff.
5 years.
Then
5 years
stuff
later,
every single rule
I finally
that
understand.
the movie had.
Things happen or not.
Things don't happen, which is a subversion of things happening.
Here we have Vladimir Dragunov saying he can't hear anymore. You can't hear us? Or is it yourself? Is it your...
I checked the stream for a second and it seemed fine.
Okay. All right. So hopefully, sir, you get your stuff worked out. If not, I'll type in the chat saying hopefully you're okay.
Yeah. Hopefully at your ears.
Meanwhile, I'm here now.
Oh, fuck.
Hey, how's it going?
I wasn't planning
I
on joining
didn't know
today
it.
until you said what you said.
Oh, it's Gaiman. Yay, he's here.
All
You
right.
broke me.
Anyway,
God, I'm so happy.
Let us continue.
But yeah, just have someone to dunk on now.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's continue.
Yeah.
And on the one hand, you can see this as a way in which we're all united in our humanity, that no matter the culture or time, there are certain truths that we uphold. But
That was
the
random.
universal truths that Campbell suggests just happen to be dripping in his own biases, fantasies, upbringing,
I knew
culture.
that she would
Oh my
say
God.
that.
I have a feeling this is just going to be. He's a white man. Oh God.
Oh, we're going to bet. Do we have a bingo card? Okay, she's going to call him a Nazi.
Racist, homophobe, transphobe, whatever. Phobe.
Yeah, she is.
Nazi,
Republican.
fascist.
Incel.
No spoilers.
No spoilers done, but yes.
And she's got to mention Trump in some way.
Oh,
Those
no.
22 minutes.
Well, we went through 10 seconds of like Gandhi and Picasso and just Martin Luther King. It's like, what is happening? What is she talking about?
Hey, listen,
The thing with Maggie is that we have already noticed that her pattern recognition is busted. And
Yeah.
that means that things that are actually similar, she does not recognize as similar. But things that are completely different and have no connection at all, she tries to find or sees the hidden magical meaning and similarity in it.
No, Wisp. The only thing she ever knows with pattern recognition is white man bad. Anything that a white man does is bad.
Yes, that comes on top. That comes on top. Her pattern recognition is busted.
Yeah.
That reminds me.
And to the level of some schizoid bullshit.
That reminds me of Wit and Folly when she made that video about the heroine's journey because it was written by a woman. It's pretty much exactly the same thing, only she inverts the feminine journey to be.
Genders.
Yeah, she switches the intro and the ending, so that it's like she discovers the female, she rejects it, then she embraces the female later on, and it's exactly the same thing, except it's about a feminine theme or a feminine goal, and the hero is a female. So if that's the case,
Indeed.
then therefore that person who wrote that heroine's journey is just as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there is a slight difference between female-centric stories and male-centric stories. Where if you watch any Disney movie, there will be
male ones are
a
good.
difference.
Well,
Let's just factually. Sorry, go first.
I was going to say watch the Hallmark movies on YouTube and see what why women watch that, why they like those stories. And it's very simple. It's not hard to grasp. So, but that's not what the heroine's journey is about in general. But that would explain many things about women and why they like those things. So
it's like, why do women find that those 365 days interesting? It's like, well, because they're massive slut.
I was just thinking that there's a difference between a female story and a male-centric story. Is usually the protagonist of a male story is having to refuses the call and wants to stay where they're at, whereas female stories generally have them being stuck in something they don't particularly like, and they're eager for the call to adventure.
Yes,
that's usually the difference.
Yeah, that's a very clear flip when you look at the heroine's cycle. And why? Because women want adventure. They want to go and do the thing because they're bored. And then they get the thing they want, and they're not happy. And they realize, hey, I'm a woman. I should be a woman again. And they are happy again. So, isn't that great?
Unless they turn into a young boy like Maggie Mae Fish.
Maggie Mae Fish. Turn into an angel on fire or something. I don't know. Anyway. Here's Vladimir Dragunov again. I was making a joke. Oh, that Maggie made me deaf. Oh, that's don't worry. That's normal. That's totally normal. Happens all the time.
How long is this?
Okay.
Oh my god.
What happened?
We've got.
Go.
Which was realizing how long this video is. So much racism.
We got past 10%.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Let us continue about shaming Joseph Campbell.
Yeah, because he's white.
And the now extremely outdated white hetero male Christian worldview of someone.
What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
We did it.
What are you on about?
We did it, guys. We solved
Hero's
racism.
journey applies to cultures that are not heteronormative, are not white.
Yeah, that's like the majority of the book. Like it's like the first one of the first stories that it's gonna talk about is the Australian Aboriginals and like their ritual of like going to manhood is that like they tell young boys that the snake is gonna bite their dick off if they don't circumcise themselves. Seriously, like that's one of the first few pages in. And I was like, what the fuck are you on about? Then I read forward and like it wasn't all that, but like, oh god, that was like a deep word right there.
Yeah, but it's like, Mark, all those stories are racist 'cause it's written by a white guy.
Yeah, of course. Like white people cannot talk about any other races, only themselves.
Bullshit.
Okay, so we've got white, hetero, male, Christian. That's four. That was one sentence. She just lined them all up there.
That's all. Okay, like I'm gonna add one more thought. Like that's like Christian is like really underestimating the book itself because like it's like spends so much time about Buddhism and Islam. Even I think the last story that I have read about legend is like a young prince that refuses to marry because like a god. He thinks that he believes that like God wouldn't want him to do that, and he wants to stay pure. And the king gets so angry at him that he locks him up in a tower. And only after like he finds that like a very beautiful princess that he decides to like go with that thing. That's when he crosses the threshold and becomes like a changed man as well. But like that was like entirely, and he's talking about very respectfully, even though he's supposedly Christian, about Islam. Why is he having a Christian worldview then?
Oh yeah, there are even
He
the
is a Christian. That's it.
even I think he references the 4 or 6 main Chinese books from.
Yes, that's the one of them.
Yeah, so he'll talk about the Journey to the West and the Water Margin, and the most famous is the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. But there's like 3 others he references as well. I'm like, what is like that's when I learned about the Chinese epics that have been around for hundreds of years, or rather, they've been around for thousands of years, but they were written down and published, because of the printing press back in the 14th, 15th century. So that's when we learned about it, and that's where he figured it out. He goes, "Oh, look at these stories with the hundreds of characters, and they're all very similar. Like all you have to do is read one of those stories, because there's so many characters doing so many similar things." And then
China had invented a printing press individually long before us, but they didn't use it to print books. Fucking idiots.
It's awesome stuff. That book is hard to read, but you learn so much because every paragraph has references to stuff you've never heard of before. It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I just love this screen we're paused on. In other words, woof. Like what the hell, Maggie?
What the hell?
Do you think she read the book?
No.
No, absolutely
Even
not.
if
I
she-
think like all she has done is like view the interviews that Campbell did, but that assumes that like you have read the book.
Even
Okay, like Hawk is right. She probably haven't even bothered with the interviews. Like maybe some snippets
saw,
of that.
saw a picture of a white man and went, "Hi, I've got all the information I need."
even some of the people who have criticized Campbell didn't read his book, but they watched his interviews. And they say, "Oh, he's missing this. He doesn't know what he's talking about there." It's like to try to compare this book to one of his lectures is like you're not even in the forest. You're looking at the forest from like a plane, and you're going, "Oh, where are all the leaves? I can't see the leaves." It's like, dude.
Yeah. I haven't watched any of the interviews yet, but like I got recommended to me that like after the book I should watch them because it's like very good complimentary, like understanding. Because like he seems to be better at the lectures than writing down the
it's like
science itself.
It's kind of like Vonnegut. Well, Vonnegut writes very well, but when he gives a lecture on writing, it's so basic that anyone can grasp it.
He seems to be a really good speaker himself.
Yeah, so with Campbell, he's just as complicated, but because he's not an encyclopedic, like off the top of his head sort of guy, because he wrote it all down, he doesn't have to be. It still sounds like you're listening to like a Peterson or like a Jordan Peterson sort of a lecture, but not as jumpy because he's very focused on a specific topic. So anyway.
Raised in early 20th century America. In other words, woof. In his writing about the history of humanity reciting stories, Campbell uses words like normal and generally valid, as if those are completely agreed upon values throughout all of time.
Yes, they are.
Holy shit, her word.
why he
Oh
says
my
it.
god. Oh my god, she's now having to go about the word normal.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, in case you don't know, humanity has not changed much in the past few thousand years.
All those stories that like Campbell talks about goes back like over thousands upon thousands of years.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like what we see normal has changed like every decade, I would say.
Yeah, no, people have wanted and desired and struggled for the same things for thousands of years, whether it's your grandparents or their grandparents. It's been the same story over again, and they all want the same stuff.
And just look at the Greek myths are 2,000 years old.
Yeah, and
we still tell stories that are similar to them.
and
over 2,000 years
we
old.
reference
reference
Oedipus constantly, whether you're talking about literature or psychology or sociology. There's always something to reference that is relevant to today, and that's why we say art is timeless. That's why we say certain pieces of art are never going to go out of style. They might go out of popularity because we don't always look at statues all the time, but the message is there. Like the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the first stories ever recorded. We understand. We get it. He loves his friend. and he's struggling for a thing he can never have. And
Mortality.
And he's been harassed by a celestial hoe. The only way to get rid of her is by killing the bull she sends at him, ripping out its leg and hurling it at her face.
Can I just say something as well? You know this bit she's taken, the generally valid normally.
I love that story.
If you read the sentence, she's saying that it's like the limitations to the generally valid normally human forms. She's having a go at that.
I know.
That's because she's crazy. She's not normal, she doesn't feel included.
A lot of his lessons
She wants to be
generic. Like when he says something, he says, "This is what I learned specifically from this passage in this story, from this culture," and then he relates that in a general sense, like a broad brush. He's not saying the Utnapishtim is exactly what Star Wars is, or the Bhagavad Gita is 1-to-1. It's like, no, he's not saying that at all. He's saying he's seeing a pattern, and these are generally the same in every other story related to this sort of setup, which they are.
Most video games we play through that have some sort of story reflect the monomyth.
Yeah, it's amazing. When you stop and think about where did this come from, and maybe the creator of that video game didn't reference that, but you can see how it's connected to something like that used that sort of drama or a character or setup. That's why I referenced the Bhagavad Gita, because it's a story about the father versus his son, which you could reference from many other things that line up to Star Wars, but then we could say Kurosawa was inspired by the Westerns, and the Westerns were inspired by, coming of age stories, and blah, blah, blah. You go down the list. So they are very interconnected, but I don't like making these broad connections because I don't have the history and the education to say that. So that's why that book is so awesome, because it makes all these connections.
Maggie wants to be included in the normal, but she also wants to be special.
I know. It's if she was
that is what breaks her.
If she was a linguist or not even an English teacher, if she was a historian, then I could say, okay, Maggie, go for it. Give me your knowledge. All she's doing is attacking 3 words, and I'm like, this is dumb.
She's not just attacking 3 words. She's just making up an attack so that she can have a go at a white guy. Just think about that. This has nothing to do with what he said. It's nothing to do with how he's done everything. It's single-handedly because he is a white male.
Yeah, this
Had
is
a black woman written there. This video would have been made.
This is the level of Californian surfer chick intellect going, oh, some guy who's white said a thing about everyone. Like, oh my God, it's so dumb.
God, so it's like.
I bet her counter argument is something like, well, generally valid, and normally, well, here's my 0.00% exception, so that proves that Maggie, that is not normal. That's an exception.
Yeah, well,
exceptions are not normal.
Nuance is a bit lost on Maggie, I'm sure.
Everything's a bit lost on Maggie.
Oh yeah, I mean. The big parts,
including her makeup.
Well, today it's okay. I mean,
the weird piss yellow on her eyes. I don't know.
Better than the weird magenta on her eyes. Yeah,
That was awful. That was a unique brand of awful.
It's like if she wants to be one of the misfits from Gem and the Holograms, it's like cool, do that, but be consistent. Don't just paint your face like a butterfly.
Oh no. Maggie cannot be consistent. It's against her nature.
But then she'd be normal, and she can't be
She's a manifestation of chaos.
I knew you were going to say that.
An agent of chaos?
No, an avatar.
Okay, anyway. 4 minutes.
An anthropomorphic personification.
Of a cat, yeah, I know. Okay, let's go.
No, oh God.
They're not. He acts as though he's above the influence of time and place, that his opinions are objectively universal and essential. They're not.
He claims
that a hero
true.
is
Why not?
Unspecific, universal. As if heroes have been made on an assembly line for thousands of years, instead of each saying something specific about the time and place they originated from. A third parenthetical. Campbell often assures us that every myth has one
Why did you bring up the
objective reading
panopticon?
and point of view. But even with a
That is
passing
not
knowledge
true.
of Western mythology,
What
you
the
know
hell?
that
What the hell? Why did she bring up the panopticon?
I was gonna say, what the hell does that have to do with this?
Maggie, that's the panopticon is not about a point of view.
I'm a bit lost.
hell are you?
I have nothing to say. Yeah, I'm like, what?
I'm telling you guys, we're just literally watching an insane fucking retard have a go at a white man because a white man wrote a book. This is literally what it's boiled down to.
She's
so
just jealous that
intelligent,
she is not a
complicated.
white man.
She's just yelling. But we've literally, the minute she brought up the fact that he was a white heteronormative Christian male, there's no discussion, there's no talks, there's no nothing. This is just her at like, she's almost turned to like the Tabernacle with Mr. Beast or whatever his name is. It's just, I don't like this person. I don't like
this person. He makes money.
Oh yeah, he's a grifter because he's he's making money or something.
But the thing is, the idea that she's saying, Joseph Campbell wrote this book and he thinks he's higher than everyone else. It's like, no, he wrote a book about people write books like this all the fucking time. What the fuck are you on about, Maggie? Like I said, I had a black woman wrote this. She wouldn't have mind. Because it's a white guy. That's literally all this is.
Yeah, that's
What's she on about?
only
Being a
argument
loony
so
as
far.
always. Yeah. What's she on about? Being a loony as always.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful relief that we're looking at. I don't know what it relates to what she's talking about. So,
I think it's some kind of Roman mural.
right.
Well, there are only
it's
Roman
probably-
murals because all the Greek ones were destroyed.
Sadly. Anyway, beautiful
Thanks,
imagery,
Davis.
but her interpretation doesn't make sense to me. So we'll just keep going.
is absolutely not true. Odysseus, one of the most famous mythic heroes,
Okay.
was a clever hero to the Greeks. But to the Romans, he was a deceitful villain,
I saw that
even
as a
calling
kid.
him Cruel
It was
Odysseus.
fun to watch.
The Greek playwright
Oh no, different viewpoints.
So hold on. So
That is not what the Monomyth is.
right, so Maggie's shown completely that she does not understand a fucking simple thing. Right. What someone classes as a hero, another person could class as a villain, right? As in like in a different culture that has a different, understanding of stuff. It's like, take for example, every single new feminist hero is classed as, wonderful and amazing in woke circles. But everyone with a single brain cell realizes they're insane fucking villains. See? That's the point. But that's, fuck it, whatever. I'm not wasting my time arguing this point with a person who's not here to argue a point, just here to go white man bad.
There's actually a more fundamental base issue with what she's saying, because this is not a matter of it's a white man, different interpretations, and one person's hero is another person's villain. It's more of main character in a story will generally follow this pattern.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, she's talking about Sophocles, so I'm assuming she's referring to the tale of Odysseus, or sorry, not Odysseus, Oedipus. And Oedipus is the tragedy. It's the tragedy of Oedipus. You're not supposed to be like him, but you can admire him for what he does to a point and say, wow.
Figuring out the riddle of the Sphinx is very impressive.
Yeah, no, there's lots of stuff to admire in a tragic hero. That's why we care about them. It's dramatic to us that they are doing things that we admire or are afraid of, like Macbeth in the story of Macbeth. He does a lot of crazy stuff that is very heroic and very courageous and also pretty crazy. So we can like him for certain things, and our subjective feelings have nothing to do with the patterns of being a hero that are found in other stories. So what is she on about?
He's nuts.
Yeah, well.
Like that's anything new.
Okay.
Sophocles portrayed Odysseus in completely different ways, even within his own plays. A commonsensical realist in Ajax, but a scheming sophist in Philoctetes.
So, different stories.
Which one is the
I don't
objective
care.
truth of the myth of Odysseus? Ironically,
Okay, whoa, okay, wait a second, honey. There are multiple stories of the same character by different playwrights, all from Homer. They're not all perfect. Some have their own interpretations. Some of the actual recordings were wrong. Some of the actual interpretations were wrong. The translations were wrong. That's how it was. You can't just argue because we got the translations wrong or someone recorded them differently. Therefore, Joseph Campbell saying hero characters are not subjectively the same makes him wrong. It's like saying, hey, Batman has the Golden Age Batman and the Silver Age Batman. Well, clearly, Joseph Campbell's wrong because they're different characters and you don't like the same Batman. It's like, Maggie, those are two different things.
Yeah, Odysseus is the DC Marvel of back then.
He's basically one guy who doesn't have superpowers, aside from Jason. But Jason's more like a Captain America type who assembles a team of superheroes around him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's one of the things I remember when I was studying this kind of stuff is that when they look at a chart of criteria before Campbell came around, they just said, okay, is there a prophecy? Is there some sort of god involved? Does he become a child king? Like, there's all this stuff. And as you keep checking those boxes, you go into the world of mythos or you go into the world of imagination. Whereas if you have less number of check boxes, the hero character is still present, but he doesn't have all this magic behind him. He doesn't have all these folk tales about him. And that's how we told stories. We still do. We just use different modern versions of that, which is directly comparable to many of the stories found in the Heroes with a Thousand Faces. So it's kind of like Campbell did the groundwork, but people were seeing these patterns. They just didn't know what they meant. So that's the beauty of Campbell.
It's like all those people found these similarities, and Campbell just went, I'm going to write a book, and I'm going to put all these things together.
Right.
And it's like, okay, and it makes it, well, obviously the read's quite hard, but it makes it easy to understand. And she's just gone, well, a white man's wrote this, so obviously it's bullshit.
Yeah, like look at Carl Jung. He's a psychologist, not a guy who studied literature, but he did look at it. So his background comes from, okay, what is the mind? Why are these patterns the same in all people? And he dealt with that through literature, and that's why he created all his shadow types and all the personas and this and that. Another guy, I think is the best friend of Freud at the time, he was doing what Campbell was doing, but on a much smaller level.
Sorry.
Plus he was using, I think his name was Otto Rank. He was using, obviously psychodynamic theory to explain that. He only had a list of like 10 criteria for what is a hero character. And it's like, oh, okay, so psychologists were doing this anyway. They just didn't have the research or the time or the inclination to look at literature as a whole. So, someone eventually would have come around outside of Campbell to put this all together. And even with that, it's not a perfect circle. It's a patchwork. It's hey, look at this culture in this period of time. Look at this book. Look at that character. Look at this plot. And throw them all together. Try to figure them out. And it is difficult to read if you ever do read the book. So there's no clear book format, but there is a pattern that we could all understand, whether it's a dramatic structure or step 1, step 2, beginning, middle, end, 2 books.
It's like she's saying, oh well, these things are different interpretations. Like, okay, so tell me what this character's journey is, and these different interpretations. Oh, they all follow the hero's journey. Oh, so what this Campbell's saying is correct then? It's like, oh, yeah. It's like, yeah, that's what he's putting across. Like, yeah, there may be different interpretations, but each interpretation, Maggie, now sit down and be careful when I say this slowly. Each interpretation follows the same pattern. Do you get it? So what you're telling me, Hawk, is white man bad. Oh, for the love of God, I give up. I just get.
Yeah, the issue.
No, she would just walk out from the room and block you on Twitter, and then call it a day.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, and
But
she's
if there's one thing Maggie loves, it's intelligent conversation.
it's fundamentally Maggie's a wimp. She is a wimp.
Fundamentally, Maggie's a fucking retard. Honestly,
Too. Too.
I'm not even gonna be nice to her in this video because
I actually
really had
think that being a wimp is worse than being an idiot, because at least being an idiot, you sometimes have the courage of your convictions.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like we've got the point here with Maggie is the last couple of videos we've watched of her, it really has come down to white man bad, and no matter what happens, she will find a white person, decide she's going to attack them, and then make up the weirdest crap that has ever existed, and then like pretend to be this. I'm Maggie Fish, and you're like, I'll make a joke about Brian's, and you're like, who gives a fuck about Brian? It's why you're attacking white guys, and it's like she just hates white guys. So I don't know. I've just had enough of her. It's like she's not insane. She's just, she's deliberately doing this now.
It's like being in an English lecture hall and someone's doing a presentation about ancient Greek mythos, and she just starts talking about how Odysseus is overrated or Jason the Argonauts is shit. Because
no, it's like someone talk about Greek mythology and then start telling about fucking Vishnu or something. You're like, fucking hell, love. Like, come on, we're not even the same continent here.
Or Sundiata, because he's black.
But listen, I read the Odyssey, and all I got to say is that elephant-looking bloke is really weird. You're like, what? The fuck are you on about, Maggie? She's like the elephant guy with the loads of arms and all that. So what?
Yeah, but imagine if someone did a presentation about Jason and then King Arthur and Theseus, or any of those old Greco-Roman kings like Romulus and Remus, and just say, okay, there are similarities. They're both kings, and they both had a prophecy behind them, and they had a magical ability. It's like, oh my god, they're the same in some regards. Like, yeah, that's all we're saying. They have patterns.
Yeah. And then you go, God, they're all the same. Yeah, well, I hope a white guy doesn't write about it at any time, because that'd be really bad.
Oh god. Anyway.
One of the consistent themes of the Odyssey is that there is no objective retelling of events. It is the storyteller who's motivated to tell the tale in a specific way for a specific reason.
Wait, you're telling me that because the Odyssey is not a true story, that the hero's journey...
A fictional story wasn't real? Those Cyclopses weren't real?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, but a Cyclops, harpies, sirens...
The funny thing is,
Neptune, god of the sea.
The funny thing is, Cyclopses actually do exist. They're just the result of malformed high levels of opium usage.
Well, right. I think we could lead some credibility to what she's saying if she's referring to different versions of Homer and Sophocles were written.
Yeah, but the different versions of the story all follow the hero's journey, which is the point we're trying to make. we're arguing about semantics of fucking bollocks here. We're literally saying, yeah, but there's all these different interpretations of this story. And we're like, yes, we know, and they all follow the hero's journey. And she's like, yes, but it's wrong. And we're like, why? It's like, because there's different interpretations, but that's what we're trying to say. Each interpretation follows the same similar patterns and stuff.
This is the only thing we could fall back on, because it makes sense that she'd be complaining about the different versions because it wasn't properly preserved, and there was no copyright back then. There was no laws, and we didn't have any printing presses.
Copyright laws.
Yeah, so it's like, okay. That's an argument to be made that different versions of the same story are different. That's true.
Yeah, but they all follow the similar pattern.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Some of them might not have an octopus in them or a giant creature in them. It's like, okay, sure.
So essentially what we're saying is ancient Greek and Romans had the same problem with remake culture that we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Let's keep going.
Reason to a specific audience with a specific goal in mind. And although Joseph Campbell likes to see himself as the ultimate objective voice speaking for all of human...
No, he's
No,
not.
he is.
Said that.
This is massive projection here. All he did was get information and write a fucking book about it to hopefully educate people in the future. What you're now doing is going, that's a white guy doing that. I don't like this because I, Maggie Mae Fish, I'm the most amazing, perfect, wonderful person who can make videos, and I am like the fountain of all knowledge. When my fucking hamster's left testicle holds more knowledge in it.
I, as a white woman who is very liberal, can tell
As a
you the
white
truth.
woman, I, as a white woman, speaking on behalf of all the black people, can tell you right now.
Let me talk on behalf of some other, like, lesser people.
I, as a white woman, Maggie Mae Fish, I'm speaking on behalf of ancient Greek. But I'm telling you that this white man is racist.
For all the past participants of the island of Lesbos.
Yeah. God. I sure hope there's some 9/11 memes to fucking cheer up the mood and memes.
Please
Yeah,
make the 9/11 real.
Well, maybe Maggie will become a professor of literature, and she'll know.
She already is.
She'll
She's
know
an
what she's talking about.
actress. She's a failed actress who's unbelievably lazy. See, what do you
Okay.
see? That's her job.
All right, here's Rin Wesley. Hey, Rin, how you doing? It's like she's denying the existence of skeletons because people have different bodies.
Yes! She's like, yeah, but these people have different body sizes. Yes, and what's holding all these bodies together? Well, a structure of bones. Yes, that's what we're arguing about, that the structure of bones is similar in everybody. Yeah, but people are different size. Oh, Jesus.
Unless they're Lizzo, in which case it's Cheese Whiz.
This whole
She
thing
could
is...
be a lizard person still. She might not have the same bone structure. It's possible.
Anyway, shall we just keep going until Donald Trump's mentioned? Or, I don't know,
Because
ancient
he's
It'll be a
Iraq.
mention. It will be he'll have a cameo.
Oh boy!
Spoilers
I
again.
wish I had my. I wish I had my bingo card ready. Yeah, I wish.
What cameo?
Someone to,
What?
Star Trek 5 again.
Star Trek 5? Why does Maggie need of a Joseph Campbell?
Anyway, let's get going.
Why does Maggie
Humanity.
need of a brain?
At the end of the day, he too is simply a storyteller, motivated to tell his tale in a specific way for a specific reason.
He's
No,
not a
he's not-
storyteller.
he's
He's
not.
collecting stories. You don't...
He's collected information, put it into a book to educate people about a certain way that stories are done, so that people who may want to write stories go, well, this is how a hero's journey should go. Oh,
In like
I'll-
very traditional, like academic fashion, at least, when it
Yeah.
used to matter something.
Yeah.
Now that word doesn't mean anything.
This is a very cynical look at literature professors. Oh, he's just another guy flapping his lips around, and that's all he was. He's like, thanks, Maggie. That's great. It's very helpful.
It's like Joseph Campbell didn't start his book going, and the Terminator kicked down the door, shot this guy in the face. By the way, I'm a storyteller, so, I'll tell you about the hero's journey later, but I've got this really cool story to tell you. Anyway, as the Terminator's like killing all these guys, these people have like rampant sex, and it's amazing. It's like, no, just another storyteller. Oh, trying to tell a story. No, he's an educator. He's trying to educate people.
Yeah,
I
and
just-
putting an analysis on like the stories themselves. Like he's not like making objective facts here. He's like trusting people that they can make their own judgment.
It's amazing that Maggie's like so angry at someone trying to educate people. It's like Maggie's so anti-education.
Like,
It's like,
if
no,
people
how is that
actually
a sparkle
educate
of
her,
mind?
there's no room anymore for her bullshit, nonsense, ideology, fantasy, schizo shit to latch onto.
Yeah.
Dunn, what the fuck are you drinking?
I'm not drinking anything. I'm giggling.
Because you're making noise. It's like, well, he's not having alcohol. It must be something else with bubbles.
If you will ask, I do have a quite large metal water bottle filled with Gatorade.
Gatorade.
Poison.
H2O.
All right. Okay.
Stop snorting the poison.
Let's go.
With a specific goal in mind, with all of his biases and motives intact. The way that he strips myths of culture and intent mirrors the way that he wishes to strip himself of culture and intent.
What?
That
What are you
is
talking
so
about?
stupid.
No.
That's so dumb.
Maggie, that's projection and mind reading. Go home to your padded cell, please.
He's stripped myths down so that the general public can understand. Because what he's doing is he's stripping stuff down to educate people about how the heroes. Listen, I'm going over the exact same points constantly here. I just feel like I'm in a
He read a lot. He saw, and he had extremely good pattern recognition, and saw, okay, all these characters are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I can't believe she's making an attack on his character because he has a deductive mind and therefore he's deducing his own problems in his own mind or something through...
No, she's projecting that he also wants to strip himself of all culture like she does with her communist bullshit.
That is the weirdest interpretation of seeing a professor study something and going, well, because it's deductive, therefore he's deducing himself, or I don't know what the hell she's saying, actually.
We see here's the appropriation of Campbell.
Because Campbell is stripping away those myths, so it can boil it down to these patterns and points, tropes that you see in the myths themselves. And she thinks that Joseph Campbell is doing it to himself and his own culture as well, so they can be similarities.
I can't even try to begin to.
Didn't have culture.
Clearly, this woman has not read the book because he's so respectful when he's writing about the different cultures.
Yeah, it's really a great read, but it takes a long time to read. It takes 3 months to get through properly.
Yeah, every single page. It's not only because I'm not a native speaker, but the words that he's using, because it was written in the 40s. It's so difficult to understand. Every single page, I at least have 2 or 3 words that I have to look up on Google. What's the meaning of that?
Yeah.
Because there's also I think sometimes the bottom of the page, but you usually have the explanations for these words. It takes half the page. It's insane. He explains the source itself, and where the myth comes from. It just takes so much time to consume.
It's very dense material.
Extremely dense.
You're saying.
Okay.
And this is supposed to be an introductory book to his arsenal of knowledge, but oh god.
Okay.
Perfect man, unbeholden to the timeline of history. A hero, he might say, about himself.
Are you
But
joking?
here's the objective truth. Campbell is very much beholden to his time and place, as are the stories that we tell. And the journey of understanding someone else's perspective is much more worthwhile. One that has the real danger of challenging our own point of view and assumptions about the world, but has the potential to shape us into a better person than who we
What?
were before we stepped outside our front door.
What the hell did she just say?
Can we go back? Because I have to hear this again.
We went to some ethical lesson here?
Yeah, because she doesn't understand what's happening.
I'm a bit tipsy. Can I hear this?
Oh my god.
As are the stories that we tell. And the journey of understanding someone else's perspective is much more worthwhile. One that has the real danger of challenging our own point of view and assumptions about the world, but has the potential to shape us into a better...
Maggie, that is something that you and your ilk of the socialist ideology refuse to ever do. You only want others to switch to your thoughts. You never, ever reflect on your own.
So
Whisp said the word.
So
Yes, I did.
this is such a stretch. I don't even know what she's trying to say aside from, well, stories should be making you better people. It's sure, they could be about ethics. That's fine. But Campbell's not doing a story. He's just looking at stories. He is saying this
I
story
think
does
might
this.
even be. I think this might also be the idea of consume other cultures because not everybody is white.
Okay, but Campbell is looking at the planet. He's looking at every culture he can get his hands on and going, this story did this, that story did that. And he's just listing them and explaining what he saw and read and what that means at the time, like maybe a religious reference or a mythological reference, like all these. It's so well connected. And you go, okay, cool, this is really well thought out. But he's not making shit up. He's not telling a story. He's not some monkey who's randomly saying stuff.
It's called pattern recognition.
Yeah.
Something you're not able to do, Maggie.
Wow, she's
going like this philosophical tangent. Like, we this thing. We're not talking about the philosophy behind, each hero's individual journey. We're literally just talking about the fact that each hero's journey follows a similar pattern.
Yeah. It's like, hey, Joseph Campbell, you should have had an ethical message in your book. It's like, why? That's not what he was trying to do. He wasn't telling you a story. He was talking and writing about various stories which do have ethical lessons, but that's not the point of the book. And she's making this weird statement that, you should be reading fiction with an ethical message. It's like, why? What's the purpose? It's like saying, I don't like Margaret Atwood because she writes very well about topics I don't like. Here's an author I do like. Read him. He is a good writer. And you're like, why? We're talking about Margaret Atwood.
Yeah.
Why are you changing the topic? This is such an aside she just invented. You're like, what are you on about?
Well, because she can't really say much more without properly showing that she just hates the white man.
The white heteronormative male Christian whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Wrote a book.
Yeah. All right. So weird.
Better person than who we were before we stepped outside our front door. It probably helps to understand Joseph Campbell if I tell you that he was a raging misogynist who believed women could not be heroes, that there was prizes at the end for the hero to be won, and the closest they can come is by giving birth. And also he taught at an all-women's college, telling them all that they can't be heroes. And when I tell you that his ideas have shaped the way that we live, and especially shaped the worldview of men who...
Wow. I'm a failed actress. Wow. Pay attention to me. Wow. That's literally all I'm hearing with this.
So, guys,
this is literally bullshit. I want evidence, and I want sources, and I want all this other stuff.
Yeah, come 1949, the entire world of fiction was changed forever, and we're all writing stories a certain way now.
Yeah, because
even though George Lucas was probably the first and most prominent person who adapted it according to the book, there was no one before that.
It's kind of funny.
That was almost 30 years apart.
Yeah, when George did his writing, it took him 2 years to do Star Wars, the first 4 films. He wrote them as one story. But when you go through his plot lines and what happens, we could point to a series of films, because obviously he was studying film and he was into film, that are directly from those films. It's like he just copied them whole cloth and rewrote them in his own way. So, and that's fine.
He just doesn't like plots or character-driven drama.
He's not very good at interpersonal stuff, yeah. So he had to steal from some Western films. He stole from, there was this thing I watched, it was a video called Squadron 663 or 633 or something like that. And the scenes of these fighter bombers going through this gulch, it's almost exactly the same beat for beat of what happens with the episode 4. It's really interesting. There's a YouTube video I could show you guys. It's really cool. So,
actually funnier, there was an interview where he said point blank, I don't like plots, I don't like character-driven drama, and I don't like writing scripts. It was
Fine.
really funny and telling because it was in a pro George Lucas video.
Oh God.
He just shot himself in the foot massively by having that quote in there.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting how the creativity of George is not in the literary stage. It's more or less in the how do I make something work physically. So he was like, how do I make this thing? And he has lots of practical skills, but then he goes to the experts and says, okay, now I need your help. Now I need you to do that. And he paid a guy to film or record audio for a year of various animals just to get the Wookiee right, the Wookiee sound effect. It was hilarious. He spent this guy like listening to bears and tigers and all kinds of other animals to get the Wookiee sound right. It's freaking weird. But when you got all that money,
Lions, tigers, and bears, oh my!
yeah, when you got all that time and money, I guess. Well, it wasn't a lot of money, but even back then, I guess it was to get the sound and the look right, and to be inspired by his own dog, and to write in a car for 2 years about all these ideas and watch film. So, and he's in the Buck Rogers world, and he doesn't like westerns, but he was inspired by John Ford, all those films. And he's like, yeah, no, totally. He was inspired by that, but did he really write them, or did he just look at them and just copy them?
Yeah.
So, hui.
Are told to see themselves as the hero of their own mythic tale. I mean it. But hey, don't take my word for it, take his. All women have to do is stop looking at the boys and wondering whether they're in competition with them. Just realize what effect you're having on the boys. It came to me at Sarah Lawrence, at the time an all-female...
So, with this quote, he's literally, obviously I can understand why Maggie's upset, because he's saying, just being an attractive woman, and obviously Maggie can't, so I can see why she's upset about that.
So this is...
It might even be...
But also,
Might
isn't
be
it
more
true?
fundamental
Shouldn't
than that.
women stop looking like they're in competition with the boys?
Well,
Wouldn't it be
Also
better?
the-
Wouldn't it be better if men and women didn't look like they were in competition with each other?
I don't see
So
the
the,
problem.
They're
more
doing it.
base-
They're doing it all the time now, and they keep failing, and everything turns to shit. So maybe John Campbell was right.
Well, this has nothing to do with the Hero with 1,000 Faces. This is another book she's referencing, and that's fine. But you're not...
but here's Campbell on his life and work. Also, this is a different book on his actual personal beliefs, not the educational book that he wrote.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Also, could also be more fundamental than that because women, the full of young men and boys, at least the ones that are straight, is to find a mate and produce the species by virtue of the fact that we've been programmed to do that for for the entirety of our existence on this planet. The girls have a really, really hefty effect on a lot of guys because of that.
Yeah, half of the plots in stories are either about acquiring a happy ending or love or power and wealth and riches. It's usually those two. Even in murder mysteries, it's one of those two things as well. So plots are pretty closely knit to those two goals.
College. I was teaching these courses on mythology, and at the end of my last year, there this woman comes in, sits down, and says, "Well, Mr. Campbell, you've been talking about the hero, but what about the woman?" I said, "The woman's the mother of the hero. She's the goal of the hero's achieving. She's the protectress of the hero. She's this, she's that. What more do you want?" She said, "I want to be the hero." So I was glad that I was retiring that year and not going to teach anymore.
Based.
Because I bet you jump on once. Well, if you're going to be you can't be the hero. You be the heroine. Yeah. So
This was a real story because, like, I thought like it's a prank that like he actually did that. But wow.
No, he's very
Yes,
clear.
well-
He's very clear on gender roles in what he studied because that's the stories how they were made. So he's just relating. This is what the males did, and this is what the females did.
A very, very, yeah. Even in something like the story of Atalanta, She's technically not the main character. She's the antagonist / object of the hero's goal.
Right.
But you know what's funny about this is when I think about it, all of it. Maggie's arguing about this. Oh, this woman can't be the hero. But then I look at all the modern female heroes, and I realize they don't go through the hero's journey.
Mhm.
No, they go through the affirmation journey.
Yeah, they just go through. I am a hero already. I'm amazing and great, and I have no problems. They go through the. It's like in a hero's journey. It's like the end point. The female heroes are at the end point at the start of their story already. There's no struggle. There's no There's no like. I mean, like the lowest
fantasy. It's just a power fantasy.
So he sort of is. He is a bit correct, really, because I think what he's trying to say is, or how I interpret it is, in the woman's mind, especially in the women writer's mind, is they want to be the hero, but they don't want to do the work to get there, so thus they can't be the hero. And they'll never be the hero with that sort of mindset, because when someone goes, "I want to be the hero," that's not part of the hero's journey. The hero's journey is always the reluctance and then the acceptance.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why a lot of female protagonists, like just throwing like Disney princesses, for better or worse, most of their stories rely on, I want to get out of this poor provincial town, I want to get out of the city, I want to not be in this wood. I think to a certain Sarah Connor wants to get out of her day job working as a waitress because her life is hell. That's the pattern of male stories generally.
Yeah, and there are plenty of female myths and goddesses that have various powers and abilities that were very much like the male counterparts, whether it's Roman or Greece. So, there are stories specific to them as well. So I'm not sure what the problem is here, aside from the popular stories not being there for women, I guess. The thing is, from what this sounds like to me, especially as a teacher going through a lecture, and like this woman's obviously asking these questions. He's answering it in a way that he's like, he's going to be frustrated with them, but also he's answering it in a way where it's a bit like he's trying to knock this person down a peg or two, because from the sounds of it, she's demanding that she be the hero, and he's trying to explain to her, like, you're not. And the reason why he's glad that he's retiring is the fact that he doesn't have to teach someone like this anymore. So it's a bit like,
you need to write a good dissertation to get your title.
Yeah, these stories are universal. It's nothing to do with gender specifically, but just traditionally, this is how we had hero stories as the male figure. But there are plenty. Like, I think, was it the Odyssey, or was it?
Describe it.
Was it or Jason and the Argonauts? I can't remember which one it was.
What's the storyline about which one?
Like Atalanta is a character. I think she's a goddess. I can't remember.
I think it's Jason.
She's just a regular. As far as I remember, Atalanta is just a regular girl who's got extremely superhuman abilities because she was a hunter of Artemis for a while.
Yeah.
So
and are you talking about the race where this guy tosses a golden apple to basically cheat and get the girl?
No. No, but I'm saying there's these characters in these myths, and they have supportive roles specific to the protagonist, and the protagonist just is usually male because that's how it goes. When you look at the Chinese novels that are huge, there's hundreds of characters. There's all kinds of women with their own plots doing their own thing, and yes, they're mostly the mothers and the the laundry people and doing all the menial tasks, but they're also warriors as well. So, it's like, hey, read this. Here's some females, dude. Go have a fun time. But I think his response was fine. He could have said these stories are for everyone. But
obviously it's misogynistic because it wasn't giving a woman everything she wanted. Guys, don't you know that as long as you exist, you're misogynistic to women?
Well, I think Dunn made a good point that there are stories that women are attracted to outside of the hero's journey, which is true, but they can still be attracted to the hero's journey regardless. So maybe she wanted a different genre of story. I don't know.
I think it's because they've realised that the hero's journey makes more money than the Hallmark journey. So that might be the reason.
Unless you're Marvel.
Well,
in which case you're making billions.
It's kind of funny. I watched a Miss Marple story on the show the other day, and they had it was the later versions. They changed the actress. I don't like the new one as much, and it was Mr. What's his face Khan from the movie.
Khan.
Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, he was on. Like, oh my god, they got him to do this thing, and he does a good job. But it's like this is a really bad interpretation.
Yeah, but hang on.
For a moment, I thought like you would say like Ricardo Montalban.
Oh god, that would have been amazing. Holy shit.
Is this like a brand new one, or is it new in regards to like?
This is like the early 2000s, I think.
Oh yeah, so they didn't get him to do it. He just wasn't famous at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So no one.
They could easily get him to do it. He was desperate for work. It's weird when you realise how desperate for work some of those British actors were until they made it big.
Yeah, this was
murder.
It was so over the top. Like I don't know if you guys watch murder mysteries, but what happens in a lot of these not as good stories is someone dies, and then someone else dies, and then at most someone else might die. And this one there was like 5 deaths. I'm like, what the fuck? Like everyone just starts dying. You're like, okay, this is too much. So.
Bodies hit the floor.
It was too much. If you read the actual novel, this crazy shit doesn't happen. And to have Benedict in there, I was like, what is happening?
Question: does he die, or was he the murderer?
Well, I'm not going to spoil anything.
Okay, hands up here. Who's going to watch Miss Marvel?
You might actually watch it. You could possibly.
I've probably watched it.
What the show or the movie?
The show.
Yeah, the show. It's a show.
Mike Testa forced me.
What?
Oh, but which what?
Mike Testa knows Miss Marple?
Oh, Miss Marple. I thought you said Miss Marvel.
Oh.
No. Why would Miss Marvel be interesting?
Why would Miss Marvel be a murder mystery as opposed to a lame punch 'em up superhero?
Hey, you know what?
Movie?
I would if Marvel produced a murder mystery, I'd watch it for sure.
No, cool. You wouldn't.
Oh no, I totally would. I would love to see their interpretation of a murder mystery. That'd be great.
Just know that it would suck.
This current era,
it would turn into Scooby Doo.
Oh,
there'd literally be like a murder. A female detective would walk in and go, "Batman did it," and that'd be the end of it. It'd be like that episode on Star Trek: Next Generation when Data's doing Sherlock and he solves the entire crime within 5 seconds.
No, he didn't solve the crime. He didn't solve the crime. What he did was that he already knew the text.
Yeah.
And walked in and gave the answer.
Yeah, but that would be what would happen in like a Marvel murder mystery with like a female detective. She just solved everything straight away.
No,
she read ahead.
I think that what we would get with a Marvel movie would be something like Knives Out. And then that Knives Out is the perfect template for what we would likely get if Marvel did a murder mystery.
Oh boy, that would not be good.
Yeah, but the donut has a hole in it.
The donut that has another donut with a hole in it.
And that's when I realised that donut had another donut with a hole. Oh, yes, we get you. It says a donut with a hole in it. Get on with it.
So basically what you're yammering on about Mr. Daniel Craig with a Kentucky Fried Foghorn Leghorn drawl is that you are an idiot who is terrible at metaphors.
All right, let's not jump into that wonderful world. Let's get back to Maggie.
Oh, women, can you believe it?
The fuck
In
was
Stories
that?
About Stories, writer and professor Brian Atterbury points out the limits of Campbell's mythic system.
In The Hero with a Thousand Faces, Campbell makes much of the Navajo story about the twin war gods who go.
Navajo. That's how you pronounce it. Navajo.
You Navajo.
That's very culturally insensitive.
Yeah, you're gonna come at me about a white guy being like stripping things away, and then say Navajo.
It's Navajo, you ignorant bigot.
And why is this a female voice when it's a male writer?
Also, why I'm listening to a guy called Brian? She said that no one good's called Brian. She went on a 5-minute tirade about Brian's.
Okay.
Go on a quest for their father, the sun. They fit his pattern. He says nothing about Coyote, who doesn't. Other Navajo figures get turned into accessories.
Citation needed.
Hold on. Wait. So, the story about the twin war gods who go on a quest, right? So that's about the hero's journey. So they are the heroes. I'm just going to assume. He says nothing about Coyote. Yes, because that Coyote is not the hero. Why it doesn't matter to the whole thing. Maggie, this hero's journey thing doesn't include all the characters. It's about the hero.
This is great.
No one cares. Like with the hero's journey, I don't go, well, Stormtrooper 247 isn't included in this hero's journey in Star Wars. Yeah, but other Navajo figures get turned into accessories. Yeah, because they're just part of the hero's tale.
This is a ridiculous understanding of what Campbell's trying to illuminate to others.
He's just trying to explain the hero's fucking journey, and she's going like, yeah, but the actor in the background of scene 43 isn't involved in it. And you're like, no one cares about that.
Right. All this
It's like
supporting
this.
cast have their own roles to play, and he does talk about that. He does mention that as well. So maybe this author here is like, well, I never read that.
Spider-Woman. It's like Spider-Woman, for instance, the great weaver who created everything, is Mr. grandmotherly little dame who lives underground. Well, that's probably what he is.
Actually,
And whose function is to primarily to help the twin heroes. Yeah, so that's it.
she's actually lying about this.
Did you?
Not really, you think?
A number of, it's so I believe that okay, so this is actually really interesting. So Coyote, I'm looking at Wikipedia, which with a grain of salt. Coyote is a key figure in Navajo mythology, and of all the figures in Navajo mythology, Coyote is the most contradictory. Is a shadowy figure that can be funny or fearsome. Coyote is greedy, vain, foolish, and cunning, and also occasionally displays a degree of power. In common with tricksters generally, he serves to test the bounds of possibilities and order. Coyote looks like a coyote in animal form, and she looks like a sagacious woman in human form. She is an ancient being existing from the beginning, exhibiting general characteristics of the culture hero trickster. She was one of the first to exist and actually stole the water buffalo's children at the instigation of First Woman, as water buffalo then causes a great flood, which forces man and First Woman to move on to the fourth and present world. You could say that she is the instigator of the hero's journey in terms of she instigates the plot, and that's the call to adventure. And it's actually this.
You go on.
Yeah, this is
Here
a classic.
Here comes the
archetype.
best. Comes the best part. One day, Black God, I kid you not, Black God is busy making the constellations by ordering the stars in the sky when Coyote becomes impatient and tosses the remaining stars from a blanket into the sky, forming the Milky Way.
This is funny. And Spider-Woman sounds like your wizard type character.
Yeah, so these are you could reduce this to archetypes from Carl Jung. You could talk about actual roles that Campbell goes into. But this guy nitpicked this one thing because he wasn't detailed enough in this story.
No. I know what's happening. I think I know what's happening. He, as well as Maggie, are mistaking the hero's journey for every character has to go through it that is in the story, which is bullshit.
Could be.
The other characters may have gone through theirs already, or may be on the cusp of starting theirs at the end, because once the hero is done with the hero's journey, he becomes the wizened master who can guide another hero in his story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why this is a problem, though, because the side character is not particular to whatever the pattern that Campbell's referring to. It's like not every character is going to fit. That's a side character.
It's not even a side character. It's a Proverbs story character.
Yeah.
It's like it's like something out of Aesop's fables.
Yeah, this is
a big difference.
This is a god. This is one of those, and it's a trickster god at that. This is one of those ephemeral creatures that defy logic. So it's like, okay. Yeah.
Stars into the sky using a blanket because Black God, the literal name, is doing it too slowly for her.
Yeah, he's not like the Aesir, or he's not like another religion. That is not one to one.
She.
Oh, she is. So, yeah, it's like this.
Cody's a she, actually.
The female.
So it actually makes more sense that she's really, really emerald and unpredictable.
Yeah, this female trickster goddess is not like the other trickster god in this other religion. It's like, thanks, Mr. Oxford.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not psychopathic like Loki.
The random incarnation of chaos is not like this other random incarnation of chaos. That's great. Thanks. That's.
Or even no, it's actually worse. She's comparing a random incarnation of chaos with someone like Hercules or Jason.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what she's comparing it to.
She doesn't understand the hero's journey, right? She doesn't understand storytelling in any fashion at all.
I don't understand structure, logic, comprehensive thinking.
Well, this is Brian from Oxford, so he must have gotten some.
Oh yeah, because everyone from Oxford is fucking brainiac, aren't they?
Oh, Maggie cherry picking the hell out of someone else's work. Thanks. Good job.
It's like when people go, "Oh, Oxford University." I'm like, you know they're only famous for that fucking boat race, don't you? Everyone else thinks they're a bunch of idiots.
This is hilarious. Like, she doesn't criticize Campbell. She gets someone else to criticize him and just quotes him. We're like, what are you talking about?
Gets it wrong.
Yeah.
In 2014, mind you.
Wow.
Like almost 80 years after the book's publishing.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, all right.
Oh, what's the guy's name? Brian. Was it
Cranston?
Brian Atterbury.
I'm going to have a look, see what this cunt looks like, because I bet you he's got...
Stories About Stories by Brian Atterbury. Wow.
Creative title.
Oh my god. Wait, that's not him. That can't be him. Hang on. I found the first one I found was no, I spelled his name wrong. Is it A10?
No,
Attebery.
What? Oh yeah, it is him. Hang on, he's not like he doesn't go to Oxford. What?
Wait a second.
What if it's just a made-up name?
He's a professor of English at Idaho State University.
Oh wait, no.
Maybe
that's Oxford University Press. It's not Oxford.
Oh.
It got published.
That's probably just a publishing company. It's probably just a publishing company that published this.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Let's have a look. Stories about stuff. He's not very well known, actually, to be honest.
It's a random guy.
He
Kind of
literally is just
kind of like seems like it's the Framing Monsters guy. You remember him, the guy who was saying that Jurassic Park is about the patriarchy establishing their power over wild nature femininity.
Yeah.
The Frome guy was wanking all over.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this book that she's doing, and it's like, all right, not very good. Oh my god, the hardcover for that Stories About Stories is £108.
No.
That is absurd.
Yeah, seriously.
Ridiculous.
A hardcover. What is it made of? Steel?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yet the paperback's 23 quid.
Oh dear.
Jesus
That does
Christ.
not
Hero's Journey.
makes no sense to me. That's absurd.
Well, that has nothing to do with the actual number of pages, just the hardcover itself. So anyway, that's
Oh, there's 256 pages.
that's it.
Yeah.
It's a short academic book, especially about such a dense topic.
There's like 4 reviews on Amazon. And you're like,
Basically, this book is ridiculously obscure. She's pulling from it, even though it has no credibility or press.
All right. Well, this is cherry picking. I'm not going to bother with this anymore. Let's just keep going.
yeah. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Spider-Woman, for instance, the great weaver who created everything, is dismissed as a grandmotherly little dame who lives underground and whose function is primarily to help
No.
the heroes.
Citation
I cannot
needed.
stress how
No,
much
it doesn't. It's,
Oh,
Citation needed.
hang on, what's she going to say about this? We'll just go back a little bit because I want to see what she's going to say about the hero's journey. The other thing we're actually, arguing about.
Yeah.
As a grandmotherly little dame who lives underground and whose function is primarily to help the twin heroes.
I cannot stress how much this little
Okay,
graph
grandmotherly
has shaped the
dame.
world around.
Do you mean the crown? Do you mean that
My
she's
God, John.
the crown?
John, listen, I know you want to say more about that, but I want to know what she's going to say about this hero's journey diagram, because that's what once she says this bit, we will realize that she's a fucking idiot.
okay, let's play this one last time.
Yes.
Who lives underground and whose function is primarily to help the twin heroes.
I cannot stress how much this little graph has shaped the world around us. It's used in Hollywood today as the only objective template for every story.
Oh
Right.
god, like
Marvel
this
says
dumbass is
hi.
finally realizing that, like, oh shit, like all of the other stories are based around this. Like, we can like go back to the hero's journey to understand the story.
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness says hi.
Act
Yeah,
1,
right.
Act 2, Act 3. Wow.
I can't believe that she's literally going, see this hero's journey thing? God, I can't believe how much it takes the world. It's almost like it was like a set group of rules. It's
Yeah,
like,
but even if Campbell never wrote the book, we'd still be telling hero's journey stories anyway.
yes. Yes.
It's like they sell or something. People like them for some reason.
I'll be honest with you. When Campbell wrote this book in the 1940s,
1949.
there'd been at least 1,940 years of hero's journey stories.
Like, okay, like Citizen Kane. Does it follow the hero's journey?
But the thing
or
is,
like Ingmar Bergman's what the Seventh Seal?
hey, Mark,
don't.
like the Odyssey, does it follow the hero's journey? Does all these old stories? Yeah.
The Song of the South.
Don't need-
like 2,000 years ago. Yeah, do they follow the hero's journey? Yeah. Wow, it's almost like Joseph Campbell didn't invent this. He just wrote down.
Cover.
She's
Also, the
literally
thing of-
now, she's trying to make out that Joseph Campbell invented the hero's journey when he didn't.
No, he didn't. Like, he keeps like telling that, like, all these stories. Like, I'm just gonna say that, like, yeah, all of these like essentially having the same values, similar values. Like we come to the same conclusion that humans are very similar to each other, regardless of like what kind of culture you come from.
I would.
Humans have a myth humans have similar myths all the time. There's a lot of repeats throughout mythology. Like everybody has a flood mythology.
Right.
Yeah.
No matter where you look, there's always some sort of flood mythology. Greeks have it. The Native Americans have it.
The Aztecs
Everybody has it. Yeah, the Aztecs have it. Everybody has a flood mythology.
It's like every culture in the world also hates Jews. What?
I would wish that more writers in general would just have some kind of structure. And if you want to use this, more power to you. And
it's basics though. This is what was really getting at me, which has really annoyed me. Is he's literally making it like the basics so that people can learn from this. And the thing is, it's like he's not trying to tell you that he is making these rules. What he's saying is, for all of human history, all these stories which have been successful and been passed down, all have this similar pattern, and I'm just going to write down what this pattern is. And Maggie, for some strange fucking reason, has gone, grr, white man, and has like decided to attack him. But also has quoted another white professor, that Brian what's-his-face, a bloke who's selling a piece of shit for 110 quid for some reason, who seems to be so obscure, it's unbelievable. And now she's moaning that this hero's journey is shaping modern cinema when it's had already shaped human storytelling for millennia without ever being written down. I don't know what she's trying to say here. I think she thinks that Joseph Campbell invented this and made it up himself.
Objectively, he did not. It's basically just he had, I guess, the opposite of apophenia, which Maggie clearly has.
This is like having a go at a doctor who writes about pregnancy and birth, going, "God, you just invented it."
And even
it shapes the way that we give birth nowadays.
Well, even if we look at Star Wars, the 4 to 6 episodes, the journey part that we could list here, the transformation, the atonement, that all happens in the 6th movie. It happens very quickly. So, it's not a 100% template. It's more like, I like this, here's another element, and then boom, Luke is now ready to face Darth Vader. It happens very quickly. So, Lucas wanted to tell stories his own way. That was the point. And he thought the future was science fiction, and he was right. As opposed to the Western myth or the other, like, he wanted to do a Buck Rogers story, I think. And he didn't get the rights, so he did his own thing.
Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon, thank you. So, this is not a perfect template, nor should it be. It is patterns that Campbell saw, that he collected, and they're not perfect. They're malleable, they're movable, and that's it. It's just a template, and no one has to follow it. But if you do use it, there's reasons for it being successful, and why plots go the way they do. People. Yeah, we can go as simple as the dramatic structure, which I don't like using, but up and down, good and bad, beginning to end, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. You could do that too, but that's mostly for, this is exciting, or this is sad. So it really depends on your writing style, what you want to do with your story, what you want to do with the characters, and why you're telling the story. Is it a sad story? Is it a dramatic story? Is it tragedy? Whatever. So not a big deal. But I do wish that more writers followed some kind of structure, because this is as generic as it gets.
Multiverse of Madness and Thor Love and Thunder don't have any structure. They're just random, incoherent nonsense.
Yeah.
All right. Here's Legacy. Hey, Legacy, how you doing? Wow, it's $4.99. That's on sale. So Maggie is telling me to not write a superhero story without telling to write a superhero story. I don't know exactly what she's trying to say, so I can't tell you.
She's so angry about something.
I don't. Yeah.
Joseph Campbell kill her family?
Or maybe she's just on her schizoid time.
Oh, she's on a period.
She's having too much sugar with those marshmallows. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're getting to the part where she's just saying she hates men. And it's like, yeah, we get it, Maggie, okay, but what's this got to do with the hero's journey? It's like, yeah, but men are making this hero. It's like, why can't women just be like, the gift of the gods? And it's like, because you're worthless, like most women.
Okay, let's keep going.
Men like this are useless.
Oh, no, can I say something? I like the way that Smud's like, oh, Georgia said, Hawk said, I just dropped names at myself. Being bad about women, you literally said that Maggie looked like a young boy and looked attractive. Don't come at me with anything that I say during the rest of this podcast.
I was being nice. Okay, I don't know about you.
Well, it was too much.
Usually she terrifies us. Today she's okay. Aside from the jokes, she's fine. Hey.
No
Yeah,
weird projection.
and then the one that terrified us is you with your fucking comment.
Yeah. God, she looks like a really little child. So sexual.
Yeah.
Smud 2022.
That's what it came off as. Don't blame me for calling it out.
All right. Let's keep going. We should probably go halfway because we're gonna.
Oh no, we've got
That's because it's Maggie.
Let's get to halfway, then we'll watch the last 2 minutes.
Well, we'll probably try the next half either on the weekend.
And then we'll never watch Maggie again.
Oh no, this is a real treat to get this Maggie Mae Fish video this short about this topic is extremely rare. So
It's just so wrong, and it's just like
I know
we can just
anyone
rip on it completely.
You don't even have to know Joseph Campbell. As soon as you start listening to her, you're like, wait a second. Some guy said Joseph Campbell was wrong because one character was off. Like what? Really?
Your entire argument is built on bubblegum and bullcrap.
Okay, let's go.
Pretty much every book on screenwriting recycles a version of his hero's journey template. And why wouldn't they? Campbell asserts with every other breath that he's figured it out. He's given you the key to storytelling, which maybe explains why sometimes stories from Hollywood feel so samey. Executives, producers, all the way down to your professors and fellow creators are giving feedback and notes.
How do you explain Marvel Phase 4?
And I don't know if you know the 1950s, but it doesn't take long to figure out that maybe he might have missed the mark on a thing or two. And his influence didn't just stop at Hollywood storytelling. Campbell's ideas affect
I like how she's
everyday
jumping
lives.
over the topics
What we're
like every
allowed
single
I
time.
like how she's just whining like a typical bitchy woman because she's just
It doesn't
annoyed
back up
that
anything
I'm
with facts.
vocal. Oh, look at me! I'm Maggie Mae Fish. Oh, the 1950s were really bad. God, I wish we were back in the 1950s because I could just slap you around the face and chuck you back in the kitchen where you belong. It's like God.
Campbell's not perfect. It's like, you're right, he's not. Can you please quote something in his book that you disagree with? That'd be great.
It's just like, he's not perfect, right? He wrote a book about the hero's journey. Yeah, well, that might all be correct. But did you hear how he doesn't like women? And it's like, if there's any woman like you, Maggie, I could understand why he hated you. It's like, for God's sake, I feel like Maggie make me think Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't such a bad guy. It's just like... Shut up. You were literally just complaining about fucking nothing. It is a book about the hero's journey. It explains in the simplest terms, even though it's a really hard read, why the hero's journey is the way it is, why all cultures around the world follow the simple pattern, why it's successful. And Maggie just does not like it for some reason because the guy that wrote it. Yeah.
Here is was this the movie version of The Fountainhead? Is that what we're watching?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think so.
She's gonna jump into capitalism. Here we go. Oh God.
Oh.
Yep. Alrighty, folks.
Here
We're
we
about
go.
to get. We're on the highway to the danger zone.
Please no. No. I don't want any more capitalism.
What we're allowed to become, how we see ourselves, how
What?
others treat
What?
us. You can see
Andrew Tate, what the hell is going on? What just happened?
God.
We did it, guys. We solved Joseph Campbell.
It's all about capitalism.
Andrew Tate and Trump for 2 seconds. What was going on? I don't know.
Like I
Thanks,
said,
What?
Trump gets his obligatory cameo in this. Even though he's gone, I probably won't run for re-election.
Yay!
I think
Yay, Donald Trump!
a frumpy muffin could run for re-election or run for election and beat Joe Biden.
He
Did you hear what Joe Biden
necessarily
said
be popular, is he?
about re-election?
No.
He said that with the right backing, he could probably beat Joe Biden.
What?
He doesn't. Joe Biden said he doesn't think that Joe Biden's a good president, but he thinks he could beat him.
What?
Yeah.
I think Kanye West could probably beat
yes.
Joe Biden. At this
I would
point.
love that. Oh God, that'd be perfect. Joe Biden versus Kanye West. That'd be amazing.
I would.
You guys want to make things worse?
Worse?
That's amazing.
What are you talking about?
That would be the best thing ever.
Literally nothing could be worse than anybody else being like even if. So, Mr. Fritzl, it sounds like you've got some American heritage. Do you want to run for president? It's like, yeah.
That would be hilarious. Or, you know what would be also funny? Jeff Bezos for president.
Oh my God.
No.
No offense, but it's like that. It seems the name is, what's this, Adolf Hitler? No, it's Heitzler. But I can still run for president.
He doesn't even exist anymore.
Just anybody can run for it. Pick the worst person in history, still beats Biden.
I still love how his what's the rate you gauge presidents on, like how much they like the president, whatever that's called. Approval rating.
Approval.
It is so low, but he had the most votes in history for voting for.
He might be the first president who's got inflation higher than his approval rating.
Everyone wants him, and now no one wants him. Not even his own party. Like, wow, it's amazing.
Not even he wants him.
81 million Americans voted for Joe Biden, and it's nowadays 81 Americans want him as president, and 78 of them are dead.
And now that same 8-1 of voters want him gone.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh my God! I can't believe a senile old man who couldn't be hid in a bunker for 6 months is turned out to be a senile old man. Oh yeah. Did you not?
Old man who can't even talk.
Did you not see him in the pre-elections? It's like, oh, I didn't realize he'd turn out.
When he tripped and nearly fell over trying to get onto Air Force One
3 times. Yeah, it was amazing.
And fell off.
There's a
and
recent
fell off
video
a
of him. Like he has like very crazy eyes. And there's a video of like an hour or two before that, and he looked totally different, and he even changed his tie.
Well,
So what I'm thinking is that like they CGI'd his eyes, so they are open. Because
Crazy
it's so
eyes,
creepy. He doesn't blink at all.
No.
Crazy eyes, more like cadaver eyes.
It wasn't just that, but it was also the cuts of the video. Like they kept zooming in and zooming out, like every cut. You're like,
Yeah.
what is happening? It's the
hell?
It
strangest
felt
thing.
like a deep fake.
Yeah, you look at the first few seconds, you're like, is that real? And then he starts talking.
Somebody noticed that like in the middle of the video, like his eyes are bubbling, so it might be CG.
His voice is different as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
the
it's
weirdest
like,
thing, because the lighting where his eyes are big is bright, but the lighting when it's dark, his eyes are closed.
Yes.
It's like, what is happening? Like, how is this? How does this?
Ironically, they did that video right after, obviously he said the President of the United States has COVID. He rang Obama up to see how he was feeling. And someone had to explain to him that Obama's not the president.
So yeah, he's.
So that's just
look at
Obama
you
with the
got
white
that
makeup, I see.
Yeah. The thing is, I always think how bad the UK is going. And then I just look across and just see Joe Biden and go, you know something, it's not that bad, really.
He's committing to sin of blackface.
Yeah, what was great in the
Whiteface
UK,
counseling.
what happened in the UK was we threw a party, we didn't tell anyone, I'm going to resign now. It's like, okay.
It's just the fact they went, we didn't throw a party. Well, here's a picture of you throwing the party. Ah, you mean that party? Ah, yes, I did throw that party.
It did not engage in sexual relations with that
but
woman.
that's not what got him fired. Well, got him like rid of.
Did
What
he
got him rid
actually
of?
say like "Hasta la vista, baby"? Is that?
Yeah, he did. He did. He said that. No, the reason why they got rid of him is because he hired a guy who sexually assaulted people. Ironically, this guy's name was Pincher. So
No way.
and this guy's nickname before he was hired is like the head whip, and the whip is someone who if there's ever a vote, they make sure that everyone in the Tory party votes the right way. His nickname was Pincher by name, Pincher by nature, and Boris still hired that guy and promoted him even after being told, oh, by the way, he sexually abused some people.
Wow.
So he got caught out, and Boris was like, oh, I didn't know about it. Then there was like a document where he recorded being told about it. He went, so you mean that's a guy? Oh, sorry. I guess I will have to resign.
In comparison to another prime minister who actually did sexually assault people. And
yeah.
He's still around.
But the funny thing is like all that happened, and I still look across it like Joe Biden thinking, yeah, we don't have it as bad as it. I'm like, you know something.
He's at least deliberate in his lies. He's not.
At least when Boris reads, from cue cards, he doesn't go, end of quote.
End of quote. Yes. Who is the PM of the UK right now?
Boris is still the prime minister until the leadership, and so far we've got Rishi Sunak, the guy who's given us all our inflation, and Liz Truss, a woman who is about as interesting as a wet flannel. So wonderful.
Wet.
Anyway, it's we're gonna get to the 11-minute mark because this is taking way too long. And
we've seen Trump. It's kind of downhill from there.
After Trump, yeah, it's like okay, we know what's going on.
That's like Act 3 of the hero's journey.
Final
like, wait. Let me get my copy of the book.
You know, we could probably write a pattern of how Maggie makes a video.
The Maggie's journey.
Well, we obviously we have the tic-tac-toe. We have the bingo card, right?
Bingo card.
But we could actually probably plot every time, you know, here's this part going to come up, and there's the Trump reference, and then here's misogyny.
Cringy.
You know,
we start with cringy intro, basis of video, and then it's just one long line of insanity.
Yeah.
Until you get to Trump reference, and then Patreon.
Fascism and misogyny in a mix.
Yeah.
It's always a mix. You never know which one's going to come first. Yeah.
But they're all there.
Yeah, it's
still
amazing. Okay. 2 minutes.
His influence on everything, from the current stripping of women and pregnant people's bodily autonomy.
What?
What are you
Robin
talking
Hood
about now?
from the 1922 version of Robin
Literally
Hood.
100-year-old movie.
The current stripping of women and pregnant
Oh, I think
people's-
she's talking about Roe v. Wade being overturned.
Hey, so what is that got to do with the hero's journey?
How did Joseph Campbell influence Roe v. Wade?
Don't know.
Holy jeez, this guy's amazing. He's like a god or something.
He's like a modern day Nostradamus or something.
Oh my god! Why? Where are we? What? This is beating the ancient Iraqi artifacts. This is like
because of Robin Hood. From 40 years or 20 years ago.
Robin Hood from 1922, 20 years before he wrote the book, gripped women on their pregnant people's bodily autonomy.
Oh no, women
Oh.
and pregnant people.
Oh.
Because pregnant people were around in 1949.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. This is just, we've just gone on for deep end here.
It's amazing. I love it.
Oh, Tyler Preston, I'm back. What did Maggie say? God, man, just get out of here. Just do something else.
Run
Live your life. Raise your children. Be happy.
Run for thy life.
Okay, let's try and finish this off. Next 2 minutes.
I can't believe we're on Roe v. Wade.
To the fantasy narrative that a good guy with a gun is going to show up and save us all.
What? What?
No!
What was that? What was that movie?
That was Zorro from 1920.
Why?
Oh, sorry. There we go. 1920. Holy hell. Honey.
Why are we at this? A good guy with a gun. What the fuck? What's the fantasy narrative? Oh, Maggie, you just wanted to write about. You just wanted to say something about politics, but you're so fucking stupid. You couldn't do it, so you've tried to hide it in a stupid little video. Oh, how can you bring up Zorro from 1920? Off topic. No, not off topic, but I've realised that The Mask of Zorro is an amazing movie and still holds up. I wish more movies were made like that.
The Mask of Zorro?
Yeah, from '98.
Oh, with was that Antonio
Banderas? Yeah.
Antonio.
Yeah, watched
that movie's
it with my girlfriend a couple. Yeah, watched it with my girlfriend like a week ago because she'd never watched it and she really enjoyed it. And I was like, yeah, they don't make movies like this.
That has its own arc.
That's a really good arc.
Yeah, he grows up or matures.
The mentor is actually a mentor.
Yeah,
and he actually has to train and build himself up. Yeah,
and the mentor actually has his own arc and journey and goals that he's trying to accomplish.
Yep, and the female romantic interest actually has an arc. And the villain actually has characterization. 90s. Yeah. Oh, what a great movie.
All right.
The gun is going to show up and save us all. In a very real and tangible way, he has limited our imagination of who and what makes a hero.
What?
No, he hasn't.
What the flipping hell is that?
So was that Salacious Crumb?
No, that is Jabba's little pet.
Yeah, isn't that what his name is, though?
Campbell was a little what?
A little shit or something.
Campbell's ideology of himself? What?
Oh, we're not going into ideology now, are we? Why are we? What?
This is. Are we attacking the man or his ideas?
Yeah, probably his ideas, because his ideas also just happen to be what every other human writer has done for millennia, because they're all white men.
Oh, yeah. All those Indian folklores and Chinese folklores. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, as people are saying, Zorro has a sword. He actually has a gun in a lot of the earlier stuff, but he very rarely uses it. He's more for swords, but yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it really depends on the era.
Yeah. I can't believe it. Zorro was actually made in like 1917.
To know the man's work, we should first take a look at the man, Joseph Campbell himself.
Oh, of course.
What did he believe? Why did he believe it? This is an easier question to.
Why did he believe it? Because he looked at evidence and it said, man, there's this hero's journey thing people keep doing.
There's this undeniable pattern that keeps showing up in all these books I read, and it's driving me nuts. I have to write something down about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or as Maggie going, man, how can I be a white supremacist? Ruffles clan hood. I know. I'll write a book about the hero's journey.
Yeah. All right, here's Onihia Jones. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I usually don't. Can we all agree not to use the terms pregnant people, people with vaginas, and/or penises? Society somehow let cis slip through without a fight. Yeah, guys, I'm in Canada. We're fucked. Okay, just don't worry about Canada. Worry about yourself.
I come back to the stream and at first hear Smut saying Canada is fucked.
Oh my god! What did you miss?
Yeah, no.
I missed 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, language.
Mark, look, can I say something? No, I need to know right now. Mark, did you hear about how she started talking about Roe v. Wade?
No.
Oh God.
Oh, right. You've missed a lot.
Okay, I'm gonna look at the
we have a minute and a half left before we go crazy, so let's try and keep that going. But yeah, guys, worry about your own countries when it comes to language laws, because we just keep getting destroyed every year. So Canada's lost cause at this point.
Language laws.
Oh, Bill C11, Bill C16. There's all kinds of crap coming out these days that you can go to jail for. So
yeah,
good times. Anyway.
Ask than to answer, because Campbell himself was extremely inconsistent in his own views. Campbell grew up idolizing Douglas Fairbanks, the silent movie star from films like Robin Hood and Zorro. This is probably why Campbell considers himself a maverick.
I see myself as a maverick.
If there was a machine, Campbell would totally rage against it.
In what context is he a maverick, honey? I
love that every single time it's these clips that it's always out of context.
Yeah, is he a maverick?
We'll never know.
As a writer, as a researcher, as a professor, as a teacher, what are you talking about? You could apply that to anything. What a maverick as a guy who rides a motorcycle. Okay. Context.
Also,
nice.
I'm sure Maggie also fawns over people who rage against the machine. I'm using quotation. Rage Against Machine. You see how expensive, by the way, Rage Against Machine's tickets are now to get to see them.
Jeez.
If you would want to.
$394.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
$394 to go and see them.
Well, most tickets for famous bands are around that price. Yeah. Whether they're any good anymore, I have no idea.
Yeah, but when I think about it, it's I've got some tickets to see one of my bands that are coming over here. It's nothing near that, and I'm why would you spend $394 to see?
Because they speak American English. That's why they have to add the extra text to it.
But it's crazy. Why would you do that? Why would you spend that much money? But then I think
go and watch Rage Against the Machine.
Well, I don't think there's going to be another Rolling Stones concert ever, but if you were part of SARS stock 20 years ago, tickets were wildly priced. So we're talking.
It just makes me think we're not really raging against the machine. Are they?
I don't think they were invited, but
I think they're just raging for the machine, really.
Oh.
Rage with the machine.
She's going to make a weird comment about that in a bit.
Oh, you fucking joking me.
Anyway, 1 minute left.
He's against rigid structural systems, just like the hero outsiders of his childhood soaps.
How in heaven's name are you going to find your own track if you are always doing what society tells you to do? I also spent a year teaching in a boys' prep school. Those who followed their zeal, their bliss, they have led decent, wonderful lives. Those who did what dad said they should do because it's safe, found out it's not safe. It's disaster.
But this quote is in the middle of a 300-page book about his extremely rigid hero cycle structure. One so innate.
Not a rigid hero cycle structure, you idiot.
That one quote, that is probably his most famous thing, follow your bliss, because in the 70s, the hippies were like, hey, let's do that. But that's what he's known for outside of the book. And he even said... Yeah, he even said that's probably not the best thing to tell people because they think that they should just have fun and pleasure and not worry about responsibilities. So
yeah, losing all its meaning behind it.
Yeah,
That's why
exactly.
context matters, Maggie.
Right.
Because hedonism, newsflash, usually isn't very satisfying in the long run.
Right. Unless you're following a form of hedonism like Epicureanism or someone where your desires and wants are restricted, so you understand why you are hedonistic and follow a certain strict way through life outside
Well,
of...
you just sound incredibly homophobic here. Why can't people just have 15-person gay orgies? Honestly.
Oh, boy.
Because it's
It's not
wrong.
like there's a terrible pox going around.
But the thing is, this has nothing to do with the hero's journey.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with any of his ideologies. This is just a comment he left on.
Yeah, his biography isn't anything to do with the hero's journey.
Yeah.
It's like, no offense, but Tolkien's biography isn't like, I don't go, well, Tolkien said this. Why didn't Aragorn say this in Lord of the Rings? It's like, because it's two different books. I can separate this fictional book
Yeah,
with this non-fiction.
there's no hope of Maggie ever referencing the hero with 1,000 faces and arguing a thing which is wrong or she thinks is wrong. It's not going to happen.
I've just realised that. She mentioned that book that he wrote, but every quote she's taken about him has been from this biography.
Yeah, it has been. There was maybe like 2 quotes from the actual book itself. And like she took out the context to back it up, so it's just like it's in her stupid tone of voice.
Right. And the context in that book is like it takes a good page to figure out where he's coming from.
Yeah.
And then to understand what he's saying and to get the reference right. And then there's the footnote to make sure that's accurate, and that could go on for 2 pages. So reading Campbell's not easy.
Yeah, I think like there was that stupid English name guy who actually isn't English, and like he was talking about the Spider-Woman chapter of the book, and how the woman doesn't have like any other purpose in that story, and that particular story other than like helping the twin boys. Yes, because like she's just like a supporting character. Yes, the supernatural aid.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's slash the meeting with the goddess type thing.
Well, yes, essentially, yeah.
The point in the story where you just meet the divine feminine who allows you to rest from your long journey and get some recuperation, maybe even gives you some kind of weapon with which to defeat the bad guy. It's usually what it is.
Yeah, and there's
And
so
possibly
many,
get laid.
There's that too. There's so many forms of the old man with the boon, or the goddess granting the whatever it is to end your journey, whether it's a gift or a magical item. And it's not there's no order. There's no perfect way to do that. And anyone who reads the book knows, there's too many patterns in here for it to be the same thing. There's no way you can compare Journey to the West to any mythos really from any other religion. There's so unique. But us being people who read and watch movies and watch shows go, hey, this is like a guy and he's going on a quest and he's trying to find something and he's trying to help people. He has a good heart and he has all these hurdles to pass and all these things to deal with. And it's like, wow, it's like that other story I heard about. And that's why I love the stories that are simple. Like you look at The Princess Bride and you look at Stardust. And those books, they follow a similar path. They're very different stories, though. But the idea is the same. It's always about love. And what do you do to get it? And how do you protect it? So, anyway, we're almost done. We have 30 more seconds. And we can go back to having shots or whatever you do to chill out. Tea, I guess. And
Nap since I have work in 5 hours. I'm going to be up.
I don't want to die.
Yeah. Remind yourself you're still alive and not watching Maggie Mae Fish anymore. It's good.
Yes.
Okay.
I might just read the hero's journey and just, slip soundly to sleep.
Oh, okay.
To human nature that supposedly no one has ever crafted tales that deviate from it. We have. He often repeats societal norms from his time.
Why the fuck is Birth of a Nation on
Yeah. I was like, what?
Why?
But Maggie,
the
it's
hell?
not the fact that he didn't invent this. It's just the fact that he's seen all these patterns and he said, "Oh, these are the similar patterns." Anyway, why don't you do the proper bits of Birth of Nations where the clan win the war?
Good question. I don't know.
What's even happening anymore?
She just references stuff and puts them on the screen for 2 seconds. You're like, what was that? Why was that?
I just like the fact that she's managed to find a clip that no one's ever seen of from Birth of a Nation.
Yeah, what's the context of this scene? Like, why did she show it?
I don't know. It's just
Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah.
She wants
As
to reference
immutable
historically
truths,
racist
things that are now completely outdated. Everything from gender roles to gender expression to compository heterosexuality, even product.
Compository?
What does that even mean?
Compulsatory.
Also, we have reached the 11-minute mark.
Yeah, I know. What is compulsatory heterosexuality? Does anyone know?
No.
The fact that you should be heterosexual.
I should be?
Well, you should be, yes. That goes without saying. If you want to keep the human species alive.
Yeah, that's essentially what she is saying. She's saying that society compulsively enforces heterosexuality as the norm.
Really?
Yes.
But
essentially
doesn't
what she is saying.
But doesn't Joseph Campbell saying he's a maverick and he's against the norm? Of course, we don't get the context for that, so we don't know what exactly she's talking about. But
this is really confusing, and also the ball screen we're on looks like a woman's going, "Dude, you've got a goose in your clothing. What are you doing?"
Yeah. All right, you want to pause it here and carry this on tomorrow or something like that?
Part of tomorrow, I've got a life. I don't think
Yes, you do.
I'm numb at this point. I'm down.
All right. Well, let's call it a break. Let's get memes out. See what we got. I'm sure we got all kind of fun ones.
I'm looking forward to these smug pedophilia memes.
Okay. Smud's wife who confirms. That's great. Smud with Maggie be like, "Kids are cruel, Jack, and I love minors." Oh my god.
It's literally just 10 seconds.
Careful, Smud. The internet is cruel. Yeah, I'm probably. Is there music in there? I'll probably get taken down.
Maybe.
Oh, these are comments. But wait, there's more. Campbell was also notorious anti-Semite. Here we go. Just one example.
Anti-Semite, how? He referenced so many Jewish tales and Islamist as whatever.
Here we go. When Armstrong walked on the moon, he apparently said it'd be a great place to send the Jews.
How would anyone know this?
Brendan Gill discussed it in a 1989 NYRB article available online, which ignited a bit of a war in the letters section with some Campbell supporters, though Gill came out on top and had the final word.
Yeah, when did Campbell die?
Oh, here we go. I always thought Jordan Peterson was bastardizing Campbell's work by trying to connect it to real-life psychology, applying rigid archetypes. Rigid archetypes from Jung? Are you nuts? And they're archetypes. They're not molds.
I don't think they understand what words mean.
I never knew just how much Campbell did that himself. Buck Wild?
Idiot. Insane.
If I recall correctly, Neil Gaiman, here we go. Neil Gaiman once said that young writers should stay away from Joseph. No, he didn't. He said you shouldn't follow any rule book. You make the rules as you go. That doesn't mean you can't use them. And I took that advice growing up. Neil Gaiman wrote Coraline, who is one of the better female literary heroes around. That's a very good book, yes, but
Neil Gaiman wrote that.
Coraline? Oh yeah, it's a great book.
The one that is that the same one as the movie, or
there is
different?
There is a movie from Coraline.
There is a movie, yes.
Yeah, it's not.
Is that based on that book?
Yeah. pretty much.
Loosely, from
Yeah.
what I understand. I've
Well,
never read.
Loosely, but still. My point is that I never would have.
She does go through a hero's journey.
Yeah, it's not one-to-one. There are
Fair.
some changes, but when Neil, the way that Neil's stuff works in video or movie format or TV format, he's just happy to see it on the screen. And if you guys watched, they produced a few trailers for The Sandman coming out, I think in a few months.
Yeah, DC just announced that stuff at Comic-Con, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like, he changed so many actors, but he doesn't care. It's like, oh, this character's great. This actor's like this. It's like, that's a black woman playing Death. That's a black woman playing the librarian. That's what's her name from Game of Thrones playing the devil. It's like, this is all off, sir. But he doesn't care because
my immediate reaction was seeing Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer is like, hey.
Well, everyone who
that's
knew
a weird miscast.
Yeah, everyone who knew the comic from the 80s and the 90s knows that all he wanted from Lucifer was David Bowie. And he even says that in the trailer that they made. And they tried to compare Gwendolyn Christie's shot when she's wearing white, I think, to a shot of David Bowie when he was doing the makeup phase, and he looks like a girl. And
For Pete's sake.
And it's like
what from Labyrinth or something?
No. Ziggy Stardust, I think, or something like that.
Yeah,
but
the transition from Ziggy Stardust to his like 80s stuff. Yeah,
and when you and that's fine for the drawn Sandman, but when you actually look at the version of that, the original depiction of Lucifer in the Sandman was like that. He had bushy hair, so it kind of matches. But the year or two later, when they actually wrote the Sandman's death in the wake, it switches to the Christ, was it Antichrist or whatever, the clean cut looking male Bowie depicted, which he mostly looks like anyway. So I don't know. He's just thrilled to get his stuff on the screen. So
well, my original point is that I never would have thought of associating Coraline with Neil Gaiman. I'm just like, what? Okay.
Well, the same with Stardust. We wouldn't have thought of it's also his as well. So
yeah, I don't know what the hell Stardust is.
Oh, it's great. Great film.
Is Whisp
great film? Great book.
Yeah, don't tell Whisp.
Yeah.
Wasn't like Stardust the movie?
No. She's doing. No. We had a 45-minute conversation about this.
Oh, really? He likes the book ending better? Really?
Well, most people do, yeah.
Yeah.
I found that book ending very dissatisfying.
Yeah, let's not add another hour to this podcast just from that.
Here's Osiris Malkovich. I feel like such a fool. I've used the hero's journey structure in my own writing for years. Okay, without any regard to what gender my heroes were. That's good. How could I have not known Joey sees no chicks allowed rule? He didn't say that. I'm a failure as a writer. There's no other explanation. Wow.
What the fuck do you want? What the fuck is that person even on about?
What the fuck, failed writer, right?
Oh my god, I failed at writing. Why? Because you think. I actually don't know why you think you failed at writing. Because you just follow some rules, or you choose yourself not to have females. That just sounds like you're just you.
Incompetent.
Well, a friend of mine watching the Smudcast right now just told me to watch Stardust. Okay.
Yeah. Here's Maggie Mae Fish on Twitter this July 22nd. I've never felt represented on screen until Birds of Prey, when the other characters told Margot Robbie she was annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Who the hell watched Birds of Prey?
I did.
It
was a mistake.
A bunch of really stupid ideologues. That is the answer to that one.
Never forget that meme from, I don't know how many Smudcasts ago, where it's Goku and Vegeta. Let's fight somewhere empty. Birds of Prey Theater, empty. Just them.
Yes. Like it was such a flop that like you could grab like a Blu-ray rip of the movie after like 1 week in the cinema. It's just like they gave up, and it wasn't even COVID.
I think that meme that I'm remembering was one of the Superman Smudcasts we did a while back.
Oh,
one of those. I forget which one.
All right,
cool. Where my mind went with Smud's comment, partly because both came from left field.
You fuck your boy, Baldo.
The funny thing
That's great.
The funny thing is, I know the context for this fucking picture.
I know the context. I get the joke.
It's written right there in the subtitles, you know.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know everything around it. That's what I mean.
By the power of white
I'm
girl,
keeping that. That has been saved.
I am offended on your behalf.
What? Why She-Ra though?
Why that
Because
version of
she's
She-Ra?
white.
Yeah, if it was the other version of She-Ra, I'd be like, okay, that makes some sense. But this is a good version of She-Ra.
I'm still saving that. And that's going to be sent over.
Yeah, this is like
The girlfriend.
this is the version of the female Thor we probably wanted.
Yeah.
Just She-Ra. Just She-Ra with the hammer.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Although she's way stronger than Thor, though. She's super powerful.
Is she?
She could transform her. Was it her body or just the sword into multiple things? I couldn't remember.
I thought you were going to say she could transform her breath.
Sword of power, I think.
Just
What?
the sword, yeah.
What did you just?
The way that Smud was like paused at the beat, and is it her body or like sword? I thought you were going to say
Sword.
she can
It's the
transform
sword
her
of power.
breasts.
It's just the sword of power. Moving on.
I think we know what's going on in Hawk's brain, but that's okay.
I think it's okay.
I mean, we knew what was going on in your brain at the beginning.
Yeah. Smud's like, God.
Well, at least you two are even.
Me, little boy.
All right, here is Chaos Conf. Okay, recurring motive across mythologies in which a god of war storms or heavens battles an evil force, who is usually either a god of evil, chaos, or is a dragon, serpent, or monster of the seas.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jesus.
Yeah, Michael versus Lucifer, Horus versus Set, Odin versus Ymir. Yeah, it's just all the mythos.
George and the Saint George and the Dragon.
Yep. Pretty standard.
Mm-hmm.
An angry god or gods decides to flood the entire world. Yep. There we go. There's Noah.
Mm-hmm.
The Norse one. I don't know. There's Unapishtim.
Kalian
I didn't think it was going to happen.
Kalian and Pyrrha.
Right.
What is this?
True advertisement. Maggie. Okay, cool.
Maggie. Yeah, Maggie Mae Fish. Literally.
Oh, is this how we summon Maggie Mae Fish?
With
You have to sacrifice all of them in like a pentagram.
yeah. So here's
The answer is yes.
more civilized gods conquers and or struggles against a group of older evil gods. There you go. Titans versus the Greek Olympians, Norse gods versus the Jotuns. Yeah. For sure. The Hindu
Wait, where's-
divas. Yeah. Good stuff.
I wonder what the Najo gods do.
Yeah, the Neho, yeah.
Yeah.
Sundiata also has a similar-ish premise. He's fighting against a sorcerer who's taken over his kingdom.
Cool.
Ooh.
So here we have a bunch of just like Tim
A bunch of
Burton.
Coraline, yeah.
This is
Yeah.
Coraline, isn't it?
This is the movie.
Oh, okay.
And this is what I was saying. It's like, how the hell was I supposed to associate this with anything related to Neil Gaiman? I'm just like, my mind does not make the connection.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's true.
You
Yeah.
read the credits.
And it goes, Neil, thanks for 5 minutes of your time.
There it
Please
is.
don't call again.
I mean, when did the movie come out? 09?
Thank you for the paycheck. Bye, guys.
All right. Here's another one, the same one. All right. And here's again.
I love Gay
Oh,
Pirate.
that's one different.
Hero. He is
Space Jam.
one of the best characters ever.
Oh, the bottom one's got Space Jam and New Legacy. That had pedophiles in it as well.
Yeah, what are those boys?
Oh, Clockwork. It had Clockwork.
The
Orange.
Clockwork Orange guys. Yeah, the
Nice.
rapists.
Yeah.
Drew.
Yeah.
But it also had but it also had other ones which were a bit like, are you sure this person should be in here? Other ones.
It had Drogon from Game of Thrones in it, which no kid
What?
should ever watch.
No, seriously. Drogon has it as a cameo in that movie.
I'm sure there was. There's also another one. He was in it, and it was like, why the fuck is this guy here? He's like.
Well, they could just see a generic dragon and think it's a dragon, as opposed to, you know.
It's the specific design.
Oh, really?
It's the exact same design.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's because Discovery / AT&T owned HBO and Warner Brothers at the time.
Oh.
At the time, yeah.
Now it's Discovery. It's
Interesting.
As if that's going to change anything.
Probably not. It's probably going to make things worse.
All right.
You think?
All right. Well, that was unexpected and crazy as we thought. Not as crazy, but it's always unexpected with Maggie Mae Fish. So, expectedly
Nobody
unexpected.
expects the Maggie Mae Fish.
Yeah. So, less than 2 hours and a half. Good job, guys. We can go take a break now. Call it a day. Have a nice long... I don't know if you guys are having a long weekend, but we are here in North America. So, fantastic. Good stuff. Enjoy your evenings. Have a drink. The weather's still fantastic. Enjoy your summertime. Go out on the weekend. Have a good time. And don't think about Maggie Mae Fish ever again until you come back. So, yeah. Anyway,
I think I can live with that.
I can enjoy my chemical lobotomy anytime. That's true. Anyway, thanks guys for appearing on. As always, it's always been fun talking to you guys, even if you're not here or you're busy or keeping yourself sane. I totally understand. But we will hopefully talk soon if you want on the weekend or sooner. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow morning. I don't know.
Tomorrow morning? Oh,
morning.
Oh, that's nonsense, Smud.
That's crazy talk.
That's like an hours that I don't do.
That's like morning nonsense. Wow.
Oh no, that's right. I should probably pop in and say hello to LitDev. See who's doing.
LitDev didn't have the stream today.
Oh no.
Maybe tomorrow.
Oh no.
Good
Oh, we
morning.
missed Anime Day or whatever. Weeb Day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Weeb Day.
everyone's missing Weeb Day. It's like no one wants to do it.
No one wants to do it anymore. We had enough of that shit.
There's not enough weebs around, you guys. I gotta talk to more weebs. There we go.
There's not enough good Weeb like videos either. It's like every single one you cover, it's someone who goes, "Oh, I don't like this," and you're like, "Oh, okay."
I don't
And it's like,
because it has like a very angry man in it.
all the people who like anime have never had sex, unlike me. And you're like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" I'm being told that virgins watch anime by a virgin. It's like, oh my God.
Okay.
I know a lot of married men who like anime, and a lot of married women who like anime.
Yeah,
I know a lot of married women.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.